This program is for mature audiences only.
Fucking BARROOM!
Please have your fake ID ready.
Some may find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
Oh, shit!
Ball's loose. Holyfield lost it. The Bears may have it.
First of all, my first goal is to be active every game this season, because I was not, and I was pissed about it. My next goal is to start all 4 special teams, like be a 4-core special teams guy. And then not only do I just want to be out there, be a placeholder, I want people to know C55. Like, even if they don't remember the name, that 55 is always around the ball. Like, I want to start getting that buzz, because that's how I play. Danny's not the one he don't really break the huddles down. They let Akeem do that, or, sometimes Cody will break it down, like the bigger guys or whatever, Max sometimes. But I'm telling you, when Danny speaks, it's just it's a different tone.
Like we talked about earlier this week, it's the opportunity for us to stack this game. Let's go out here and execute. Let's be the playmakers out there. Let's go. Playmakers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Playmakers.
The way I can tell is who Mac and Akeem and those guys look to.
Yep.
I feel like they have so much respect for one another. And I feel like when Danny talks, everybody listens, because that's how it goes on the field. If you don't think Rowe is feeling those same things, it's not everyday part of him, but Rowe didn't have the year that he wanted last year.
Yep.
No way. He went out with an injury. If you don't think he's humming, then you have no idea who Roquan Smith is. Humming. I've watched a play where 4 people hit Mac.
Yep.
4 people, they tried to drag a receiver across the chipper. They are doing we played the Broncos. Do you know that Joe Flacco didn't hold that ball for longer than 1.5 seconds the whole game? Their whole game plan was chip to the flat, chip to the flat, chip to the flat. That's a Mac. That's the Mac effect. That has nothing to do but to get the ball out because Mac is coming. People don't understand what having a player like at some point in football, they're gonna find a way to neutralize these guys, and he still makes stuff happen. Did he not have the year that he wanted to, that I wanted him to have? Sure, he'll tell you that. But have I seen my guy do it? Do I think he's capable of doing it? Absolutely. We'll see. But at the end of the day, this job is about results. It's performance based.
I'll keep it 100 with you. This club dub played out.
Same way you kept it 100 with me, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. That has nothing to do with anybody outside of the Chicago Bears organization.
Yep.
Thankful for the fans. We appreciate you for supporting us. But that is our release with each other for all the hard work that we just put in for the past 6 days.
While you're talking about T-Matt, how tall is he? We all know he's short, but what is he? That's something he just doesn't talk about. You're on 100 proof, Josh. You gotta give up. You gotta give up the number, bro.
I'll be honest, I can't take a guess. I can't. I don't know.
Is he 5 feet?
Is he over 5 feet? No.
You don't have to say it. Okay.
Bears BARROOM, 100 proof.
Cheers, Bears fans! This is Bears 100 Proof, and I totally screwed up the open of the show, so my apologies to everyone and for keeping you all waiting. My name is Aldo Gandia. I am to blame for the tough start to our show, but we've got, I think, a very provocative 3-hour show, guys.
Two hours. Shut up, Phil. We're going all night.
Never take Shane's timing
We are going to talk about the issues at hand. And first of all, want to begin by giving a shout out to Greg Braggs for having a tremendous Shy Fans in the Stands show on Tuesday night. You can hear the audio copy of it on our YouTube channel. You can hear the entire podcast on your podcast stream, which you can get on iTunes, Podbean, anywhere you get your podcast. Greg and Joe Mandel and Fat Mike interviewed Lady Bear, and there was a really healthy discussion about the situation that's going on now. We are going to add our comments here, Phil, Shane, myself, and we've got sound bites from today's press conference, virtual press conference that the Chicago Bears had with members of the media, Matt Nagy, Akeem Hicks, a very emotional Akeem Hicks, Danny Trevathan, and Allen Robinson all spoke with the media, so we'll be able to react to what they are saying. And I want to ask Greg to pay special attention to what people in the chat room are saying today, because we definitely want to include their comments in and have people react to that. So, guys, how you doing? First of all, Phil, how you doing, my brother?
I'm hanging in there. It's been an emotional time for me and my family and what's going on in the world. I'm keeping it 100. That's what this show is, and it's been a difficult couple days because of what's transpiring in our country, and with personal humor and everything aside, my friends, my family, and everything in regards to the love affair that I have with this football team and people that I love. And keeping it 100 on this show, I've been torn, really. I'm always kicking it back to music and hip hop and R&B and everything I grew up with, and that song "Torn" keeps ringing off in my stomach, my gut. I've been nervous today. It's almost like I'm preparing for a game because of what is going on and my emotions. It's real. It's real here. Didn't expect you to call me first, but just keeping it 100. I'm not. I'm just emotional. I feel like you get right into it in 100 proof. But you keep it 100. I'm let down. I feel like there's opportunities for people and to really rise up and understand things, and unfortunately they can't. And it's unfortunate, and I think I have the stage to speak up for my Black brothers and sisters that are out there. And that's what this show is. That's what it's always been about. I break down the tape and I go under that umbrella. The tape doesn't lie. And it really gets to me. It really gets to me on an emotional level that in 2020, Cherie has to go on there to teach people that Black people are at a disadvantage. Like, that. You know that as a white person, that you have white privilege, that it is there. I speak out of my own ignorance. In the first years of what our Colin Kaepernick did, Aldo, Shane, Greg, I didn't understand it. Don't disrespect the flag. I was there, ignorant to it, keeping it 100. Didn't understand it. But then you do research, what is ignorance? It's not knowing. I have compassion for ignorance. I have 0 for racists, 0 for bigots. I don't have it for them. Where you are born is a lottery. I get so fired up. You know that I understand the truth of the tape. The tape doesn't lie. What happened to George with a police officer laying on his fucking neck? It's not okay. Anybody saying anything different is someone you shouldn't follow. You shouldn't even be a part of. I'm not doing 7 takes, Shane, to say the truth about racism. Like I don't stand up for racism. I don't need takes. I come from a real place, keeping it 100. The tape doesn't lie ever. When your president's up there holding a Bible, let's keep it and bring it all the way back to this. Black Lives Matter. Why? I shared this point. I gave you 9 reasons on a Facebook post that was so well written that nobody can get out of that maze without understanding. So I take it back to the tape because your words and everybody's stats. What do I always say, Aldo? You can manipulate stats and numbers to anybody's soapbox and where they stand. But you cannot alleviate the tape. So if you're going to hold the Bible up and you're going to say any truths, it goes back to the snake. You cut off the head of the snake like this. God said, I created everybody in the image of myself. Everybody. That is a human race, right? And then every human is under that umbrella. So people going out of their way because somebody has different pigmentation to say they're less than you is not okay. I don't care where you're from. There are poor white people in this fucking country that are oppressed. But they can walk down the street and be viewed differently than a black kid, mother, father. That is real. So when we talk, and I had to learn what Black Lives Matter, I had to understand this is about oppression. This is about children. This is about teenagers. And this is about life. And if I'm keeping it 100, I'm not. I hate it. All lives matter. Of course. Nobody is saying that it didn't or that they don't. What we are saying is take a goddamn look in the mirror. I'm not asking everybody to change. I'm asking you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, are people treated differently when they're of color? And if you can't come to the conclusion after 51 years, when a black man can't drink at the same water fountain as me, then you have a problem. So when we say, I stand 100% with Black Lives Matter, for the record, here's my face, 100%, because I know what my black brothers and sisters are having to deal with. So it is not against anybody else, any white person, any Italian. I'm Italian and Swedish. My mom's as white as they fucking come. And nobody growing up knew what the fuck I was. And I was called a spick. I was called a mulatto. I was called a Chinese kid with my head the shield. I told the story. And I have 2 daughters that are biracial that have to deal with this kind of bigotry and racism. So I talked to Shane this afternoon. I talked to Greg. I've talked to so many people. But at the end of the day, I love people. And I think in America, we have a giant problem. So the tape doesn't lie. I'm going to bring it back to that, Aldo. Because the tape didn't lie about George. And the tape didn't lie about the white guy dressed in black with the umbrella banging on the window, setting AutoZone up and setting everybody's anger. It's easy to manipulate a crowd. And when you got 15-year-old kids manipulated to look a certain way, and that gives the racist motherfucker, look at those blacks. There they go, doing it again. When the whole perspective is a manipulation of politics. So we need to be able to understand that as white people, we got to turn around and hear the voice. I need your help is what Black Lives Matter means. I need your help. There's too many of our children dying. The whole nation has an iPhone now. Imagine 1960, 1973 when I was born, 1980s. There was no freaking iPhones to cover all of the atrocities. So we're asking, put your white privilege, put your Italian, Puerto Rican, all the brown skins, all the white skins, all the humans. No one is saying the police, every police officer is bad. Nobody. We're saying there is a problem, clearly. And let me tell you the difference between, and I'll say, and then I'll shut up. There's a difference between having an event where you're shouting and you're screaming and you're wanting to be heard, and then looting. Those are two different things. So if somebody's cause is to combine the two to manipulate the media, and the media doing that, and you're believing it, what do I say all the time? There's a narrative on the Chicago Bears. There's a narrative they're running with Mitch. There's a narrative. The same thing is happening to everybody. So when I look at my Facebook post and I see people that I love not understanding and being ignorant, I'm okay. I forgive that. It's time to educate. It's time to rise up and be okay. Because when I look at Walter Payton's daughter, crying, it fucking crushed me. It crushed me. That 2020, we're using a watermelon and monkey to taunt somebody. It was the only reason why I'm a Bears fan. Is because of her dad. We got to rise up together and stand in truth, in solidarity. We really do. We got to do better. And listen, my son and my two sons, they ask the question, why is Sunshine and Isabella brown and I'm not? And you have that conversation. Racism and bigotry is taught, folks. It's time to cut the head off the snake. Don't allow it. Teach your children to love everybody. And last point, I know I said that before. There's so many things about this that I've been through in my life, like Forrest Gump. I've been performing as the white boy, rapping, doing a black cultural thing. I'm not from the ghetto. I never pretended to be. But I love it. I love football. And I love my buddies here. And I love the fans. But everything in my heart is to speak out. I'm going to lose people that are racist and bigots that don't like what I have to say. And that's okay with me. That's okay with me, Aldo, because this show, this thing has always been in the spirit of spirituality, of Phil Etoshin. Me, music, rap, shit talk, my best friend Shane, my new best friend Greg, and my fucking brother Aldo. And we fucking just decided to do it. We didn't copy nobody. We did this. And all of these people, half of our listeners are black or brown skin. I owe it to all of them to know that, listen, there are bad white people, there are bad black people, there are bad Italians, there are bad Puerto Ricans. We know that. We don't lump everybody into that. You don't do that. As a football coach, Greg and Shuri were talking about it last night. There's a locker room. I've led all these men. If I was a bigot coach, none of those kids would want to play for me. None of them. So I love human race. But right now, one of our kids is not being treated fairly. And I think everybody and their brother who has a brain or has empathy, the one thing that triggers us into being humans, empathy, that you could see something is not going right in this country. And the only thing I needed in this is a music track, because it would be last call on my rant. So Aldo, that and all of you, I'm proud of you. Rise up to be better, because I'm there for my DMs are open on Instagram and Facebook. I've heard everybody and everything. And I am not taking anything away from any I have 15 guys. I was a corrections officer in a juvenile prison. I have nothing but respect for the police. I understand the dangers. But there are bad police officers, and there's got to be a better vetting process. There's got to be. Just like there are bad Twitter people and bad Facebook people and bad podcasters and bad broadcasters and there's bad. We got to do better. And I'm about that here on this network. I don't have no script. There's nothing here. I don't even know what I just said because it all came inside of me. I love you.
So, Shane, how are you?
Phil and I spent a lot of time on the phone today, not really planning for the show or anything like that, just talking about everything that's going on and everything just in life, what we're dealing with, this pandemic. I mean, who even remembers it at this point? You know what I mean? And it just shows you this place where we are. And like I said, I feel bad even speaking right now to follow up with what Phil just said, because that's, to me, his rant, that is the rant of all rants right there. That's the Bears 100 proof mic drop moment. And Aldo, myself, Greg, everybody at Bears Barroom will sit here and kneel with Phil with what he just said, and kneel with all of our listeners, and kneel with everybody out there that's dealing with this, that has to live with this pure hatred every single day. Aldo, I talked to you on the phone last night, and it's, my son is 9, and everybody's heard me say that. And it's to the point where I know how I am as a father. I know how I raise my child. And I know the day that my child was born, I knew what I was going to instill in him. But every child that's born isn't born a bigot or full of hate. It's a clean slate the day that they're born. It's a beautiful future for them. And it's not us here, but there's people in life that taint that bring that hatred into their lives, a child's lives. My son, I live in upstate New York. Say what you want. It's my son's got, white kids in his class. He's got black kids in his class. They don't worry about anything. They just my son wants to go to school and have fun and play kickball and basketball and football with his friends. That's what you want all of your children to experience. But it's us. It's the adults. We're the ones that have to be better. We're the ones that have to be educated, because this cycle cannot continue. You know, I spoke to Phil. I'm 43 years old, and I grew up in a time my grandparents love them eternally, and unfortunately they're not here anymore. All four of them have passed on. They grew up in a much different environment than I did, where things were completely accepted. That when I was a child, I heard things said, and at the time I didn't really know what it meant, because I was essentially sheltered from it. But I would hear, a comment or in a conversation that they were having with somebody, and I didn't know what to expect. And I look back on it now and I'm like, man, it's really, really sad. But it's the environment that they grew up in. Like I said, it goes back to, they weren't born that way. That was instilled in them with how they grew up. And, it's just everything that Phil said. Phil lives with this, like he said, with his daughters, Sonny and Bella. And I think about it from that perspective. That is heart-wrenching. Eel is not from the United States, and I don't want to compare this to racism and the toxic environment that we're living in today. But it's just, I see it with what she has to deal with, just because she speaks different, because she's got an accent, little things like that. And it just, even taking our son to McDonald's and going through the drive-thru, and if she's behind the steering wheel and talks, I've heard hatred just because she's got an accent, and it's infuriating. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's because she speaks different than I do, than you do, and you're full of hate because of that. It's hard to grasp. Phil's known me longer than anybody here listening, and I know we come out here and we love to bust balls with our brotherhood and to other podcasts and to other fans of NFL teams. And this is just so far beyond that. It's hard to, I don't even know, you can't hug everybody. And that's what it comes down to. I just see what's going on TV, and you can believe that it's, there's always politics involved. Unfortunately, there really is. And at the end of the day, just if it can just come down to being a good human being, I think that would make all of this, I'm an Occam's razor guy. You guys have heard me talk about that. The simplest solution. I know me. I'm not saying all of this as eloquently as Phil, but keeping it simple. Just do what's right. When you're saying something that's wrong, deep down. I've always felt that way. It's just, I don't know. It's heartbreaking, because I want what's better. Phil talked about the Black Lives Matter, and it's tough. Black Lives Matter. Yes. How is that so hard to figure out? Why are people so infuriated by that statement? Of course they matter. I'm not a religious guy, but in the Bible, Luke 15, they talk about, the 100 sheep, 99 of them are safe and one goes off and is in trouble. And God goes to that one sheep, and the other 99 say, well, what about us? You're going to leave us? And he says, yes, I'm going to leave you right now, because you're not in danger. This one over here is. And that's what we're experiencing today. I can look in this chat room and see all of our fans that have to live with this every day. And believe me, we talked about this. We didn't know how we were going to speak on this, what we were going to do, because I said to Phil, do we go? Is this going to be the entire portion of our show? I feel like some people are looking for an escape from the real world from us. But when it comes down to it, Aldo, you know better than everybody. What are we based on here? We are based on the truth. Even when it hurts. Look at this shit that not to dig up old bones. Phil knows what I'm talking about. Phil, more than anybody, has stepped up and been a fucking man in spite of all the fucking hate. You know who I'm talking about, Mike? You know who it is. Phil's the fucking man. He did it. He fucking owned it. Was it right? No, it wasn't right. He owned it. He fucking lived it. Breathed it. Took it on the fucking chin like a man should. That's what you should do. That's what every fucking man and woman today should fucking do. Man up and do what's right. Love thy neighbor, no matter what fucking color they are. Because you know what? Black lives matter. Humans matter. And that's what we all are. We all bleed red at the end of the day. And that's what matters. If there's a white cop on the street bleeding, it's red. If there's a black person bleeding on the street, it's red. If there's a child bleeding, it's red. It doesn't matter. Be better. Be better. None of this ancillary bullshit trying to prove everybody else fucking wrong matters. None of it does. It's all bullshit. It really is. Be a better human. Go up. I don't give a shit. Go up to your neighbor. Talk. Talk about what issues you have. Just because people are on different sides of the fence and don't agree with everything doesn't mean that you're wrong or they're wrong or you're a shitty person or they're a shitty person. Be confident enough and have enough respect for the person across from you, no matter where they're from, no matter how they speak, no matter what color they are, and talk about it. We're all humans at the end of the day. And let's be better as a fucking race. That's my rant.
And a good one, Shane. I'd like to add a few thoughts. And like Shane just mentioned, none of this was scripted. We didn't talk about what we were going to share. And right now, I'm going through a lot of thoughts in my head as to what I should share, and what I shouldn't share. Because those of you who know me from my personal accounts, my personal Twitter account and my personal Facebook account, know that I share a lot of political things on there and that I am not a fan of the current president. And when we're talking about this particular issue, and while it has existed for a long, long time, this particular president, in my humble opinion, has thrown oil or gas on a burning fire. He has rekindled the racism that exists in this country. And it's and I know that's not going to be a popular opinion with many of our followers, but that's how I feel. That is a fact-based opinion, and I've had many discussions with family members, with friends, and with social media friends, all who disagree with me. Many people disagree with me, and I try really hard to understand their point of view, but I can't. I see it as I see it, and you can convince me otherwise, because I'm always going to keep the door open to a degree. But right now, I just have to blame the present president, for a lot of what's going on. When you have people being caught on social media saying Trump is going to throw you out of this country, that's nothing that I've heard of in my 61 years on this planet. And since I was a kid, since I was 8, 9 years old, I was reading newspapers. I'd start with the sports section, and then I'd flip it over and look at the news and followed what was going on. And there's a lot I learned about this country. And one is that everything is politics. When you wake up in the morning and you turn on the electricity, you turn on the lights, the reason that you're getting safe electricity into your home is because of politics. The reason you're drinking safe water that you can bathe in, water that you can drink, is because of politics. The reason your garbage was picked up on Monday morning is because of politics. Everything is politics. And that's why I pay special attention to politics. Right now, what I'm seeing in our country is that there are certain states who are trying to erase the history of slavery in our country. And slavery is something that I bring up a lot when I talk about the African-American experience in the United States. And the reason I do it is because people don't understand the ripple effect that has had. I had a conversation with a golf partner. We finished playing golf. We went over to the 19th hole. We drank down some beers. The conversation got into politics. And as soon in politics and race, and as soon as I brought up racism, oh, come on, stop that. That happened hundreds of years ago and blah, blah, blah. You're forgetting something, my friend. You're forgetting the ripple effects of slavery. African-American people have not had the opportunity to build generational wealth. Lots of people became very, very rich off the backs of African Americans, bending down to pick up the cotton, cleaning their shit, doing all sorts of labor that they were not paid for. The White House was partially built off the backs of African American people. The result of that is that these people were not being paid and therefore were unable to build up some wealth that they could leave to their sons and daughters. And that those people then were unable to build some wealth that they could leave to their sons and daughters. And so that has created a ladder to success that is much more difficult for people of color than it is for white people. I can talk from experience because I'm Latino, but I know that the color of my skin has benefited me in many instances professionally. Oh, we hired a Hispanic guy, but he looks like that. So everything is cool. I know that's been a fact. I could get into the details of it, and I won't do that. But I am especially empathetic to what has happened to African Americans in this country. 300 years of slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow, where in some states, they had to pay to vote. They had a poll tax. They had to take tests. Everything to stop them from electing people that might represent them, even though they lived in neighborhoods that were predominantly African American, and they should have had somebody sensitive to their concerns as opposed to another white person. And then in 1963 and 64, when Lyndon Johnson passed the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act in the United States, he had to go in front of the nation and plead to white America to accept this new legislation. And privately, he told his political advisors, Democrats have just lost the White House for the next generation or two, because he knew that it was not going to be a popular opinion with whites in the South. I could go on talking about the history of this country and how African Americans have had to face bigger challenges than all the rest of us who look like this. I could go on. I won't do that because this is not what you came in here to listen to, but it is important that we all do spend a little time doing some research, finding out about what happened. I want us all to learn when it's African American History Month in October, I believe it is. Read up about what's happened. In fact, don't even wait till then. Read up about the history of this country and what has happened to our Black brothers and sisters. It's really, really important. And make sure that your sons and daughters are doing the same. because that will give us a better understanding as to what has happened here. As to we tend to immediately look at, well, they're not taking care of themselves. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. And that's bullshit. There have been socio-economical and political issues that have made things tougher for them. And politicians have used that as a wedge issue to create a divide in this country. That's a fact. That's a fact. I know this is an unpopular opinion, and I didn't really want to go there, but that is what is first and foremost on my mind when I look at this issue. Greg, you had your forum yesterday, and I want to give you some time to add some thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to your thought of, the institutional racism as far as being held back, it's gone further past slavery. You look at, like I was saying yesterday, if you're on a football team, you understand working together as a team despite race. How about fighting in a war? We've seen a lot of black brothers and sisters fight along white people in a war. And back in the day, when they had a GI Bill, black people came back and were not available to have the GI Bill. How fair is that? You want to talk about a fair shake? We've had housing acts that put into the writing that's only available to certain people of a certain income, and it left out, certain job titles like housekeeping and jobs that black people took, so they couldn't get the Affordable Housing Care Acts that they wanted. They're not allowed in the same schools as white people. As we talked about fountains, how about schools? Schools are pretty impactful on how future generations succeed, right? This is called tying someone's hand behind their back. I can remember, being from Chicago, the whole Jackie Robinson West baseball team incident. And that fired me up because those kids, for 20 years had been trying to win a championship, and they get beat by all the other kids that got more money into their baseball teams. And for once, the Jackie Robinson West team rose up and beat all the other kids. But, the kids weren't all from the same place. Well, one of the kids is homeless. Is there anybody on any of the other Little League teams that have homeless kids? It's not... That's what I talk about when I'm talking about trying to give a fair shake. So I'm with you, Aldo, and it's not just about what's happening in the current. We've made this bed now. We got to get out of it. That's where people need to just truly understand and accept. Like I said, we can fight wars together. We can go to football games together, play sports together, go to concerts together. I see that people are capable of putting aside their cultural differences, their political differences, and fight for one cause. Why can't we do that as a country? That's what I've never been able to understand. And, if you want to talk about, is there racism nowadays in the NFL? Look no further than the NFL considering giving teams a higher draft pick if they just consider hiring a black. That just goes to show you that they have to do everything they can to try to get, a fair shake. That's all, I think people are asking for when they say Black Lives Matter. I put it on Twitter earlier today. If you were standing at the top of the building and a person was standing there ready to commit suicide and they yelled at you, "My life matters," would you say all lives matter? Or would you tell them, yeah, your life matters, come on off the ledge? That's like Phil said, it's a cry for help. They're reaching their hand out and asking, can we help? And the answer should be yes, not holding your stance, your line in the sand. It's time to come together as a country. And I know we spoke a lot about it last night, but it's hard sometimes to collect all your thoughts with everything going on. And you want to make sure you're saying the right things, because I respect everyone's opinion. I know how you guys feel. I live in Crown Point, Indiana. You saw the video of the guys with the ARs trying to scare the little black kid that's protesting peacefully through the streets. I work with these guys. I'm friends with these guys. My family are these guys. I once had someone in my family tell me black people are incapable of mowing their own freaking lawn. That was a statement told to me, sitting at the bar with someone I say I love. You know how hard that is to hear? And say, hey, that's my family member? But you have to accept people's ignorance. But we're not going to accept you can be ignorant. You can not like people. You can go in your house and tell I don't like Frank. Fuck Frank. But you know what? It's time to give everyone a fair shake. That is what we can change. You're not going to eliminate hate, but you can eliminate the unfairness, how we're treated. I was once put in handcuffs, detained right before Game 5 of the World Series. Had a cop rough me up pretty good for no reason, no good reason. I could have cried, foul play. I was just lucky they let me out of my cuffs and let me go to the game, to be honest with you. I was running in a sidewalk I shouldn't have been in. That was it. But the guy that arrested me initially was getting after me. I got a little taste of what that's like as a black man in this, or a black person in this country. Because the black person would have got cuffed and thrown to Cook County Jail that night. I got away because I got to cry foul play. That's not how everyone gets a fair shake. Not everyone gets a fair shake when it comes to jobs and everything else. So that's where it's a you know it when you see it kind of thing. And growing up here in the region, like I said, I live in Crown Point, and Gary, Indiana is 20 minutes from me. I don't need it described to me. I'm old enough now to understand how it's been unfair, but back when I was a kid, I knew it then, and I didn't have to understand all the little politics behind it. You can just see it. And kids see that stuff, and I think people are just tired of hearing the banter. Enough's enough. Let's call a spade, and that's where we're at here. And I can't thank Lady Bear enough. Cherie Burnett, calling her Sherry all night. Cherie Burnett, pulling an Aldo, right? Cherie Burnett, carrying us, because it's not easy for us to talk about this. It wasn't easy last night. It makes Cherie Burnett, Lady Bear, as known in our chat, one of my favorite chatters in the Chatterbaiter room. And, for her to come on really helped us, because it's not easy for 4 white guys to talk about this. Aldo and Phil have a unique perspective, with their different cultural backgrounds, but it isn't easy. And you need different perspectives, but the only way we're going to get through this is by talking and listening. And that's the first step we can do. Now, people in power, they need to do a hell of a lot more. We need to get our schools right. Instead of schools in Chicago closing down, we need to be rebuilding our schools, getting good teachers. My mom and dad were both teachers for over 40 years. My dad, as nuts as he is, I'm not going to throw my dad under the bus here, but he taught in the Gary school systems. He's got crazy beliefs and taught for 40 years in the Gary school systems. My mom taught in the Maryville school systems for 40 years, taught black kids her whole life. And it's time to get the schools right, get your house right. Parents need to be teaching things right. That's where it starts. And then, the people in power that are controlling the politics need to be held accountable. That's how you make change. But for us individually, it has to start by a conversation, as tough and as uncomfortable as it may be. I don't have to agree with you, but we're going to talk this out.
If we don't keep it 100, we've solved nothing. That's what every fan, I'm reading these posts. I didn't know what to expect. I told my wife before, I don't know what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it. But I'm proud not only to be a part of this network, but I'm proud to know that I was raised to love all people. That I took education to heart. That I knew that other people didn't have what I had. And I was grateful for that. But I also understood those moments when you're around somebody who's ignorant and it just fucking punches you in the gut that you're so disappointed with that person. I don't shut off. I try to teach, because I could never, Aldo, ever in my life. And I don't talk to my brothers. I don't think anybody knows I have brothers. I have 2 half brothers. I don't even talk to them because they couldn't think on a level of humanity like we are. And they were raised the same way. But their bias, which is controlled them. So for me, it's personal because I love people. Listen, I was in a barber chair with a friend. This kid was the best man at my fucking wedding. I asked him to edge up my fucking hair. Edge it up. It's a true story now. I want to share this. I didn't know I was. And if you
No, barbers edge it up, get a nice line. You see the line? I cut my own hair. My wife's helping me cut my own hair right now. But the friend says to me, and I quote, "Oh, you want that nigger cut?" And I swear on everything in me, in my life, a friend said this to me, fully knowing me, my beliefs, my family, my everything. My hair was half done. I took the fucking thing off, the whatever it's called, the sheet that's on top of you, and I fucking left. I said, you gotta fucking grow the fuck up and understand. That's the most offensive shit. What, you're not black. I walked out of there with the shittiest cut you've ever seen because it mattered. Because it was important. I don't comprehend loving Walter Payton or Michael Jordan or Denzel Washington or any fucking musician that you love and then have bias towards race. I don't. For so long, I've asked people. This one kid made me cry. My teammates were there. We were playing Madden. I was beating his ass so bad, and he said to me, he said some white shit. Like I'm ignorant just because I'm white. So it was like reversed on me because everybody in the room was black. All my teammates playing Madden. And he reversed it. It hurt me so bad. And I looked back on it and I was embarrassed. But it really showed me that's what happens to every kid that's black, that's abused, that's neglected, that doesn't have the same chances. So that's why I know this is real. There's ignorance, and then there's racist bigots that have an agenda that Aldo's talking about. That I know Aldo's right. The color of my skin has given me advantages others haven't. And I think you, the white woman sitting in your room listening to Diana Ross or Whitney Houston, whoever, and you, the white dude that loves Bruno Mars and Michael Jackson and anybody else, we all have to understand you're human. You're going to be judged by God. At some point, you think God is going to be okay with you, that you held this bigotry, this racist, this anger, because someone who is black is treated unfairly, and they're saying Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Now, when it was misconstrued and against the U.S. flag, everybody's like confused. But when you look at what it is really about is being oppressed. And that Shane's example of the sheep, that one sheep that Jesus focused on right now is black people. Because it ain't right. It isn't. I have Khalil Mack here. Does Khalil Mack say anything? I'm reading his text, his tweet. Have any of you seen what Khalil wrote?
No.
Nobody? You want me to read it?
Please.
I'll try to get through it. Now, I love this guy as the football player. We all know he's black. I don't say African American. I've just always come from this place where the fucking Italian guy over there, the fucking Puerto Rican guy over there, the black dude down the street, the fucking Jamaican dude with the dread. That's how I talk. I'm not politically correct because politics to me are a smorgasbord of fucking shitty liars. That's what it is. I don't have politics. I have passion. And I wear my heart on my sleeve, so I'll try to get through. Let me get my reading glasses on. Jesus, I'm getting old too.
Shit. This is important if he's putting on glasses.
The last few days.
At the lower part of his nose.
Yeah, like my dad, like the playbook.
Steph just left the chat room, by the way.
The last few days, I've been seeing a lot of whites apologizing to Kaepernick. The man was never disrespecting the military and never said all lives don't matter. It was him trying to bring light to police brutality and the injustice system that is. And now 4 years later, look at America. Look at America now, shaking SMH, shaking my head. When all you had to do was listen. It took for a man to die on video for people to see, but a lot of African Americans see in urban neighborhoods see this daily. They're tired and want to get treated like everybody else. To me, that's your leader of your football team speaking out. Your Chicago Bears send a message out. Mitch Trubisky sent a message out. And all of us are here in this chat because we love the Chicago Bears. We love the passion. We love the colors. We love the uniform. We love what it stands for. We love to go to the games together. We love to high five. We love to live through the week. We love the tape never lies. We love the music. We love the passion. We love the dumbest tweets. We love Shane's fucking jokes. We love Greg Braggs. Who is this guy filming? They put a Braggs rule in place at camp, for God's sake. Waddle and Sylvie talk about him. We love Aldo, the super producer, putting a stage, a forum together where we could speak and clear the air. Because like Shane said, you face truth straight on like a man. As uncomfortable as this conversation is for you, I'm standing here putting my name to it, telling you my story. My wife is Jewish. You think there's bias? There's been uncomfortable situations where friends that you love have said, well, Jew them down. Jew them down on that price right in front of us. And to see that hurts. We live it. We got to do better. We can joke. There's a stage for jokes. Dave Chappelle could go on there and talk and fucking joke. I could do it. I have never been afraid to get in front of blacks, whites, Latino, and fucking bust your balls about your fucking race and all the stereotypes of it. Because there's a time to laugh. But in this country, I don't give a shit. I'm not trying to change your perspective in your politics. I am saying that you gotta say, this isn't right. And join in and support your black brothers and sisters now. Because I saw Tooch joke about he's a hobo. You know, that he sees white privilege, but he's a hobo. Yeah, that's a whole different game. Tooch ain't walking outside wearing a hoodie getting wondered, what is this motherfucker doing in this motherfucking... That ain't the same. That ain't the fucking same. I've seen it. I've had teammates live it. I've had friends lose their child because of it. It is serious. It is not a game. Your ignorance is okay for me. Some people don't feel how you need to clear your friends list. Some of my black friends have said, no, because this is my opportunity to teach them better. Because clearly their parents, their teachers, and everybody else involved in their life have it. So if I've been given this comeback, this stage, this 100 proof that's fucking worldwide, this ain't no micropod, no copycat league of fucking show. I'm on video talking to you, the fans, thousands, hundreds of thousands downloaded, all of the stats. I'm saying to you, we all have to do better. And last point, I said to my wife, I said to Carlos Toro, I shout you out, Carlos. If I change one motherfucker's perspective that's a CEO in France or he's in Australia, I've done what God helped me do. Because I told Shane, I ain't waiting to shout outs to talk about this. My brothers and sisters, those are fucking people that are in the fuck. You could judge everybody. Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. You, Shane, Greg, everybody. But at the end of the day, we got to do what's right. And right now, this country's on fucking fire. The pandemic has happened since 19 60s. And now we're closed off, shut off. And the next person that uses racism as a weapon, hello, Kelly, I'm at the park. I'm being attacked and abused by a black man. When it didn't happen, rise up. Rise up. I don't give a shit where you're from. Don't tolerate it. Arrest that person and put them on Front Street. And it goes for any race that's doing that shit. Because the end of the day, we can't use racism, reverse racism. It goes everywhere against our brothers. We have to stand up for 100% of the humanity. We just have to do it because our children are growing up. We got a pandemic. We don't even know if we're going back to school. We don't know if we're going to be able to go to the Shy Fans in the stand. We're going to have to change the fucking name of their show. Shy Fans watching on TV and get rid of Fat Mike because he's a Packer fan. We got to change. This stuff is got to happen and got to change. And I thank every single one of you that have reached out to me, my family, Aldo, Shane, or Greg, and thanked us for what we do. Because what we do would be nothing without your energy in it. And that's really all I could say. I mean, you put a bow on this racist bullshit. And
if I could just add one more thing too. This isn't white versus black. Some people want to try to make it that. In this country, racism, definitely some of the worst parts of it are white versus black. But there's racism across the board, as you said.
Absolutely.
And what we're seeing too is in these protests, it's not just black people protesting. There's white people out there. That's why it's people versus racism, not white versus black. And it's not just stricken to this country. This is there. You see these protests all over the world, and some of these in other countries there are thousands of people. So what does that tell you? Because they're not from around here. They ain't even been here. They deal with the same stuff. We just have to. There has to be an acknowledgement. This isn't white guilt. This is about an acknowledgement of what society has been for forever, for existence. And we just got to try to be better. Change, yeah. Just because we know life isn't fair doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to make it fair. That's it. We can't eliminate hate, but we should try. That's what we're talking about. You know, it's a lofty goal, but what else do we have to do? You know, we got to make this world better for our kids. That's the end game here. So, you know, that's my final thought.
Let me, because there's been a lot of talk in the chat room with disagreements about white privilege, and Tooch is saying, you know, what white privilege do I have? You know, I've been bypassed for promotions and I'm in debt and so forth. But I want to show him a clear example of one form of white privilege, and maybe he'll get it if I show him this. So this is a situation that happened at Central Park. An African-American man who is a bird watcher. He's out there watching birds, and there's a certain part of Central Park that is cordoned off, and you have to have, not cordoned off, but all of the dogs have to be on a leash so they don't scare the birds away and the bird watchers can do their thing. Well, this woman doesn't have her dog on a leash, and the gentleman, the African-American gentleman, starts videotaping her because she starts to kind of lose it. And so let's listen in on what she's got to say here.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking pictures and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Wow.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm in a ramble, and there is a man, African-American, who has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. And my. I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately.
You see what's going on there? She is weaponizing the fact that he's a black man. She
doesn't even like her.
Yeah, right.
She's choking out the dog at the same time.
She knows that by saying there's an African American man, by identifying him by color, that the police are going to show up there and they're going to handle it in a very aggressive manner. This was a calculated move by a woman who, by the way, voted for Barack Obama, but nonetheless, she was showing her racism by identifying him by his color and repeatedly telling the police that she was being threatened by an African American man. That is white privilege, Tooch. That is what you need to appreciate. What you've never gone through that in your life. You've never had somebody call the police on you and say, there's a really hairy guy, who is Italian and he's threatening my life. They didn't weaponize that against you. And so, I may not be explaining it in the best way, but I think that's a clear example.
Sean Perry, that comment right there, that's one of my buddies there. You see him over? His comment is exactly what white privilege is. It's not monetary. It's about the ability, what she did, what Aldo said. She loaded the racist gun with a bullet of ammunition that I'm a white woman being attacked by this nasty African American, which is what Aldo said. Now, the reality of that, she knew exactly what she was doing and used it to her own gain. What was that guy doing? He did nothing. We all see it. That's what I'm saying. The tape doesn't lie. It's a life. I mean, I wear the shirt because it's the reality of the truth. It's unbelievable to some that this could happen, but that's weaponizing racism right then and there. And the reality of that, it happens all the time. That's why I can't, I'm like this irregardless of my children or my wife. I've been like this since I was 13 years old, fully knowing and aware that there are unfair advantages. And listen, I was suspended from school twice. Once standing up for a Jewish kid, and the second, literally beating some kid to a pulp because of the Jewish commentary that I heard. And the second time was throwing a kid over the fucking food, the food line at my high school because he called me an N lover. And that is my stance. If he called your daughter or your son, and you see what happened to Brittany Payton, this stuff occurs all the time. And I really think we as a people, as white people, need to embrace our families, our cultures, and really understand that Black Lives Matter is if I was to draw it up for you, I just would say to you, it's that one child that needs your help. It's okay to put those other children, they're going to be okay. But that one child needs your help right now, and it's going on for 400 years. So let's change this and really do a better job. It's no different than what our veterans have come home, the Vietnam vets, and how they were treated. If you can't see the same lines, you have to do better in these situations. But there is a huge issue in this country, whether you want to say it's sparked by the president, politics, however you want to do it, it's okay to change it
And it starts with the one person that's listening and say, you know what? Shane or Phil or Aldo's right. Greg's right. I got to do better. And if that's what we get to tonight, then we fulfilled God's word. Because at the end of the day, all of these people, black, white, purple, I don't even like that. Black, white, yellow, brown, however you identify, God said, all man is created equal. For you to treat that person any other way is horribly against what God is. So I'm not a religious person because I saw the double talk. Like you can't, because of this, and Roman Catholic, I'm there and all of a sudden the preacher or whatever is talking shit about Puerto Ricans. That doesn't sit well with me. Like, wait a second. Aren't you the father? Aren't you the one? And not all priests are raping children and shit. Just like that. So my point is, if we get away and come away from here and everybody's in step for step, even if it starts in Bears Barroom, we've rippled, we've thrown the stone and we've started the ripple in the lake. And we've made a difference. And if I spoke truth for Swanky or Cherie or EJ or my boy Jamari or Oil Pan Willie, all these Jim Larison, all these barflies that have been there forever, then I've done what I'm here to do. And if you're a new listener, this is what is on the table tonight. And it just has no script. It just comes from a very truthful place. And I don't think any other show on this network could ever, and no offense, Greg, tackle what we're doing tonight in trying to define to you white lives matter, black lives matter.
Well, I disagree with that. And I also disagree with you when you say it was God that said that all man is created equal. That was actually Thomas Jefferson who said that. He wrote that in the Declaration of Independence, I believe. And ironically, Thomas Jefferson owned over 600 slaves. All right, let's turn our attention now to how the Chicago Bears are dealing with this. Matt Nagy met with the media in a virtual press conference today, and he talked about over the weekend, he reached out to a number of players to figure out what was the best way to address what's happening in our country. This is Coach Matt Nagy.
After talking to several of our players over the weekend and listening to where they're at, get an idea how we wanted to go about this week. Because as I said, a few days ago, football is extremely secondary. And so we have to get life right. And that was number one for all of us. And none of the X's and O's, it's just no one was thinking about that. And so how do we go about it? And so talking to some of the guys helped me into deciding on Monday to really spend our allotted 2 hours to listen and to let our players know how much I and we support them, and then let them feel our love. And that starts by listening. So we did that, and we had I wasn't really sure how it was going to go because I wanted it to be very natural, very organic. And I can just say this, when the 2 hours ended, and I'm sure we could have gone a lot longer, we were all very emotionally drained in a good way. And there was a lot of emotions that went on. I discussed it with our team this morning. There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of fear in the conversations. There was disgust. There was sadness. There was compassion, hurt. And then there was even at times some stories with that I know a lot. There's surprise. And so I feel it's important that y'all understand what we went through. It was probably the most powerful 2-hour meeting that I have ever been in and will ever be in. And, you know, I'm just proud of our family. I'm proud of our players. I'm proud of our coaches. And, you know, there was a protectiveness to the meeting there was a vulnerability to people's stories. And it was, I know the word powerful has been used a lot, but to me it was raw. And, you know, I feel like y'all should know that, because this is way bigger than football.
Akeem Hicks was, of course, one of the players involved in the meeting, and he told the media today that he was skeptical about the purpose of the meeting and thought that it wasn't going to really amount to anything. This is Akeem Hicks.
Well, to be honest with you, to be completely honest with you, I didn't have much feeling towards it. I wasn't excited to get on that call. I didn't think anything positive was going to come from it. I didn't know why we were having this, you know, this moment where we were singing Kumbaya and trying to get over what's really happening in the world. You know, I felt like it was I felt like it might be a control situation where they want to control the narrative and point us in the direction. So when we talk to you guys, there's only going to be a certain message that you guys hear. It was the complete opposite. It was totally different. I watched young black men, young white men, older coaches from all across the United States, and watching everybody reveal themselves in a way that isn't common, right? In sport or masculinity in general, right? And express their real feelings, you know, out in the open, out in positions where you feel like somebody could start pointing at you and saying, oh, I don't know if that's a good guy. I don't know if we want him on the team or if that's the type of person we want around the building. Everybody let those feelings go and shared from the heart and shared their real experiences. And there was some hurtful stuff in there. There was some stuff where people were, you know, changed and altered for life. And I won't speak on it because that's their story and that's their, you know, what they're dealing with. But I'll say this, as a team, there was a level of healing involved in that call. And there was a level of us just coming together. We just got a little bit tighter because we've had this experience together. So it was a positive call, and I think that it'll change the lives of some of the young men that we have on this team. It changed my perspective on a lot of things.
Shane, like Ryan Cox said in the chat, we've given Matt Nagy a lot of shit, justifiably, for his play calling and so forth. But it's undeniable that he is a qualified and good leader of men. And for him to create this safe environment for people on the team to have these honest conversations for a 2-hour span was quite impressive. And listening to Akeem Hicks' recollection of the meeting that happened on Monday, I was moved by it.
Totally agree. You know, there's the saying, people say, you know, when the rubber meets the road, that's when we find out, you know, who's real and who's not. And back to when I was speaking earlier, when I said, you know, that football and you know, what we're normally here to do and to speak on isn't the story, nor should it be, ever shouldn't be, until shit is right in life. Nagy not wanting to get in the I formation and run the football, it's not a priority for me right now. You know, there's bigger things, and Ryan Cox hit it on the head. You know, there's bigger things, and when your leaders get that, when they understand that, I mean, I'll push it up top too to McCaskey. I thought the statement that the Bears put out was a good statement. I read a lot of them from other franchises that fell short, quite honestly. And that's putting it in the nicest possible terms. But to further Ryan's point in speaking on Nagy, it's not just him. It's this organization that we have bagged on. And it's justifiable. But right now, the rubber is meeting the road. This is go time. This is 4th and 1 from the goal line. Got to punch it in. You're in the Super Bowl. It is. That's what this is right now. This is.
Absolutely.
And you appreciate it when the tops of your organization, of your favorite team, we live and die with this. With Chicago Bears football. We put out 3, 4, 5-hour shows. And you know what? We do it multiple times a week because we love this. And they're making the right decisions. They're doing the right things on their own. Akeem Hicks, listen, you want to talk about this Bears franchise? Akeem Hicks said everything I need to know right there. I didn't expect anything from this. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go into this. Why are we doing this? With everything that's going on, why do we have to go into this and deal with this? Essentially said it was bullshit. It was a dog and pony show. I get it. But then what did he follow that up with? It blew his mind. It was exactly opposite. Take that same philosophy in everyday life to what Phil spoke on, Aldo, Greg, Cherie last night, everybody that's been speaking on this network. Take that. You don't know. Just because you think something does not mean that you're right. It's all about being educated, keeping your mind open, being right, being a good person, listening. Expand your horizons. You don't know everything as an individual. Akeem did that. He listened to leadership, and he's a better man for it. There's a contingent of players and front office people and head coaches. I give Akeem so much credit for admitting that he expected nothing to come from it, because there's so many people that would go into that situation and they would just come out and say, yep, cool. It is what it is. Akeem admitted it. He was real. He peeled back the curtain. I'm not going to lie. The dude looks fucking huge. I hope he's maintaining weight.
Yes. He said he was in the interview, but I don't know.
Right.
Could be the angle.
Yeah, it could be.
According to
pick
Greg,
that fucking camera. I shouldn't be talking about it. I'm just saying. But,
television puts on 10 pounds.
Yeah.
According to Greg.
10.
Can I say one thing about Nagy? Because I've been one of the harshest critics. But I think it's a showcase of class and leadership. And when we joked when my father was on and who said it first, and Greg or my dad, about learning on the job, and my stance is still the same on that. But here's a showcase of a coach that gets it, that understands this is bigger than football. We didn't know they were having this meeting, but it's a testament to this show, because we realized this is bigger than this show. So we got to talk about it. So to see your head coach doing it, as Shane is saying, I'm proud of the McCaskies, I'm proud of this franchise, then you've gotten to the point of understanding how big this is and how big this franchise should be ready to win. Because what you're seeing is the truth come out of your leader of men in that locker room, and that's Akeem Hicks, giving you the reality that, holy shit, I went in there thinking one thing, this corporate thing, that we're going to have this, we've all, whether you work wherever, you get these trainings where it's going to be this PC training on sexual abuse or racism or whatever it is, and it's fucking cush. It's fucking stupid. There's no fucking filet. There is chuck meat that you're eating. Well, tonight we brought the filet, and Coach Nagi apparently has brought the filet and the lobster for his football team, because that right there, I applaud you, Coach Nagi, who I've been hard on. Oh, that's a bad drop. And
Dude, you get work.
But in truth, I see the reality that this coach is learning that the most important thing is to be transparent, because the team, what is it, Alex, is such a reflection of its head coach. And now you've stepped out in front of this team. Now, granted, your situational football, none of that I formation, all that. Hopefully you self-scout and go there. But to this preparedness of weeks ago, admitting you were fucking wrong with preseason reps and all of that, to get to this point where it's the cherry on top, that you put football aside and you talked about real shit. Do you know how far that goes with football players? It goes way farther than you can imagine. And when you got a bunch of shoe salesmen coaching in the league, because let me tell you, this coach is learning. So props to my Chicago Bears and props to you, Coach Nagi.
But why were they able to come together? It's because they have a common goal coming up. They wouldn't have been all in the same room had they not been on a football team. Then working on it in a month here, they're going to come up at training camp. So they come together, and that's why Akeem was skeptical. Oh, is this going to be some team bullshit meeting? And it probably got into a real conversation, because I think people are done with the fake talk. Let's call a spade, as I said it. And that's what I'm saying.
And that's what Akeem was basically saying. I thought it was going to be some bullshit fake talk.
Exactly.
But
And it
wasn't.
sounds like some real shit got talked, because I think people are done with the lies and just trying to act like things aren't the way they are. But like I said, they're a team that has a goal coming up, so they were able to set. I'm sure they still have differences. They still have, some of them still think stereotypes. One of them probably thinks the other guy's a fucking asshole. But they're able to get along, to be as a team. They're able to get in a Zoom meeting and figure it out because they have a motivated goal. As a country, we need to have a motivated goal to be in a better place to live in for all of us. And that's not socialism. That's just trying to make a better democracy for the one that we live in. It's not about everyone gets equal on a football team. Not everyone gets the same playing time, but everyone's treated with respect. So that's how we need to handle it as a country. To me, it's not that difficult.
I want to play a soundbite from Danny Trevathan, who described his feelings about Monday's meeting.
The common phrase he used was love. And, I feel like a lot of people don't, use that word enough or show that love enough. So, it was just amongst us just to talk about it and have a feeling for one another. Everybody's different, man. So, but there's no ignoring what's going on, and I think that's what makes us special. This is what's gonna help this team a lot. Getting that out in the open, clearing the air, and just sharing love with one another, having one another back. Football is football, man, and wrong is wrong, and right is right. It costs nothing to love one another. It costs nothing to care about one another. And we can't keep ignoring stuff and putting it under the table. We have to be man about it and deal with it and actually take actions without fearing the repercussions of stuff. The repercussions are we still in it. We have to take action, man. And I feel like we're doing the right things. I'm make sure that I'm gonna do my part, whatever it is. I got two little ones. I gotta grow up and teach what's going on in the world. I don't want them to grow up in a world that's confused and hatred I don't want them to deal with that. But the reality is, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for them. I'm doing it for people after me. You know, I might not reach my goal, but I will get close to it. I will help and do my part. You know, that's what I'm here for as a man.
It's Danny Trevathan, who Josh Woods last week described as a man who is a man of few words, but when he talks, people listen. And another man who you could sort of describe that way is Allen Robinson. This is what his opinion about how the Chicago Bears have handled this.
You know, I definitely think that's been positive. You know, I think for us, you know, we've had pretty open dialogue, you know, and I think that's the biggest thing is for guys not being afraid to make different situations uncomfortable based on their true feelings and based on their true experiences. You know, so I think for us, you know, as a staff, as a organization, you know, they've been able to allow us as a group and as a family to be able to have these different talks to try to see as far as how we can make this thing better and how we can create an impact across the board. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. I think that the conversations that we're having is not just conversations that we're like having to just have. You know, I think the biggest thing is trying to create solutions and trying to have solution-based conversations, you know, and I think that's addressing the problem firstly. And then I think also talking through on how can we do our part. You know, that's what the next step is, you know, is everybody can talk about it now, but, you know, it's for us as a family and as a group, you know, trying to create our own way on how we can impact and how we can, you know, cause change individually and also as a group.
And I think that is a huge point, is that moving forward, we all are responsible as citizens of the United States and as fair-minded people and as people who care about our fellow brothers and sisters. We have to do something, figure out a way to speak up or donate to a charity that is doing the right thing. We have to figure something out, right, guys?
Absolutely. I mean, that's goes back to what we spoke on originally. You never know enough. You have to improve yourself. You know, the knowledge that you can acquire should never stop. You know, it's like looking at your child and you want what's best for them. You know, you want them to have the best of everything, the best education and for them to learn as much as possible. And it shouldn't just be about them. It should be about, yes, that should be your focus, but it should be about you as a person, your family, your friends, the people that you're close with, improving yourself. And that's what it comes down to. None of this is easy. None of it is. You know, I've had situations in my life that were uncomfortable, but I'm not going to put it on anywhere near of a level of what Black people have had to deal with, because it's not on that level. It's not in the same stratosphere at all. And like I said, it to me, it's the Occam's razor philosophy again. Simple solutions. You know, everything's not cloak and dagger and behind closed doors. And, you know, there is a lot of that stuff going on, but sometimes the simplest solutions, just be better, can improve a lot of things. And, you know, to what we were talking about with Akeem Hicks, you're right there. You know, Akeem Hicks, Matt Nagy, Phil read you what Khalil Mack said. Mitch put out a great statement. Danny Trevathan, true leader. That's the leadership of this organization. I talked to you about George McCaskey coming out. It says a lot. It really, really does. You know, it makes me more proud to be a rabid fan of this franchise. Have they put out the product I want to see on the field? No, they have not. Like I said, this matters more. It does. It really does. And I'm proud the way that they're handling it. I've never been more proud to be a part of what we're doing here. You know, after Phil spoke, I had a hard time myself getting my feelings out because Phil did so well. And then Aldo spoke, and I felt the same way. And then Greg spoke. And I know I'm getting off course here, but listen, guys, this is not, there's no game plan to this. Like we've said, Aldo didn't send us a script and say, this is what I want you guys to do. When we're saying this is from the heart, this is literally us showing up here tonight on a live show. None of this is edited. None of it. My parents can watch this. Phil's parents, everybody, Aldo's mom, Greg's mom can watch this. She's in my kitchen making me cookies right now, Greg's mom. That's a whole different story. But I'm just saying, none of this is scripted. I honestly feel like this is what separates this whole thing is the raw honesty. Talking about, do you think that I was fucking comfortable talking about things in my family and extended family that I've heard growing up? I'm not proud of that.
Right.
I'm not. But I'm not going to hide from it because that's the wrong thing to do. I'm not going to raise my son that way. I'm not going to be that way with my family. I'm not going to be that way with Aldo, with Phil, with Greg, with anybody. You rise above that. And I'm not looking for respect from doing that because it's doing the right thing.
Right. This isn't an
This
act.
is the least we can do. Is talk.
This isn't
Exactly.
an act. You walk the walk. I have always been, maybe more than these guys, never afraid to tell someone I love them. In the most uncomfortable situation.
Phil, what did I text you after your rant? Immediately.
I'm so proud of you. I love you, is what you texted me. I love you, bro.
I love you too.
That I walk from the heart. I told Aldo something personal about my life, and he gave me great advice. And my response to him was, I love you, bro. Thank you. And he was like, you know what? I have a hard time reaching out. I suck at that and saying I love you. But it means a lot coming from you because I don't just throw it around. Like these guys that bought the Tape Never Lies t-shirts that show it on Facebook and are proud. I fucking loved it. You taught me so much about football. I show my wife. I'm like, see, all that fucking time I'm doing this shit has meant something. I love those fucking guys. I will fucking go to war for people. I will. I love Tooch. The guy break down and take moments in the show from every week and put it together and do that. I love that. I love Alex Acevedo for doing what he did. You need to have swag. You need to make a little money for all the hard work you do. I'm going to do that. I love that guy. I love Jim Lares. I love Greg Braggs. The most real dude. Like, he gets it. He doesn't. I don't know how. I reacted emotion. I fucking will tell you straight up, you're a fucking cocksucker. I will tell you straight up. I will own my shit, my mistakes, but I know who's real. Because real recognizes real. I know who's real. And I could go down a list. That's why I do the shout outs. Because those people deserve. Because they're proud to be a part of this. I'm a barfly, motherfucker. I appreciate that. What? And she pops right up when I'm thinking of it. What Cherie says, her truth. Fuck it. I met this woman. I said to Steph, this woman needs her own show because she gets it. She knows the passion, the fanatical, radical, magical man of emotion that goes along with being a Bears fan. And everybody in that room, Jamari Riddick, Jamari wearing his shirt, my boy, Todd Rucker, putting a post up there, raising a fist about Black Lives Matter, but Phil, you and Barroom matter because you keep it 100. I didn't keep it 100 for Todd to do that. He did that on his own. I owe Todd a debt of gratitude because he spoke his motherfucking truth. I've seen many people talk the talk, but I don't see a lot of people walk the walk. I got you, bro. I got you. I've seen that. But the dude that takes the little bit of time to share Shane's post, share Greg's show. I'm not an actor. I fucking wear my heart on my sleeve. I break down that fucking tape. I'll challenge anybody. I don't give a f. I'll challenge anybody because I know it's my name, my father's name attached to it. So I love the Barroom. We keep it 100, baby. I always hear Kyle Long in my head. I love Badge and Bobby and people in the Barroom that keep it 100. I love them because they're real. And that's what I want this. That's what I want because I could say, fuck this. I'm doing my own shit because I want to be real. I only want real with me. That's what it is. You make fucking 12 mistakes. That's fine. If you own them. If you have a pool and you're an ignorant fuck, get the fuck out of here. I don't have any time for the ignorant, angry, racist mob, the pile-on crew, the manipulation of truth. I'm a fucking racist motherfucker, challenge you people to fights on Twitter, and then the next day I'm everybody's favorite candidate. I don't know. I don't live like that. I don't do that. So what I believe these men and all of you, to get back to my original point, it's now time, like Danny T is saying, to say, Edward Loya, fucking love you, man, and mean it. It's okay. We can break balls. Be a big tough guy in the corner. But I have love in my heart. I have love in my heart. I know I'm coming from a real place, right? I know that. I know Greg knows when I say it or I call you, I'm doing it for a reason. Because I love the truth of people's compassion and competitiveness. I'm okay with competing. You want to be better than me, that's fine. But if you're going to go in a chat room or talk shit behind my back, keep it 100. Come and bring it truthfully. And those fans that are living and dying with this show and everything we do here, I say, I love you all. I'm going to forget 100 people. But like Chris Sandlin, I love that guy. The most realist dude who keep it 100 with you. He fucking breathes, lives, Bears. I don't know what he likes more, Aldo, the Barroom or the Bears. That's how much. And that means something to me that I told my wife, I could not believe it. My first trip out to Chicago. And I'm hanging out, I meet Aldo, and then I meet all these fans. Pablo Jax and Heidi and Tooch and Joe Mandel. I'm like telling my wife about this. It's unreal. It's surreal. And then I meet Sandy Tom from Scotland, listening to every fucking thing and getting nervous in my presence. I'm like, this is just me. I love you, man. And that's the reality. Ryan Cox, the Professor X. Barroom truly cared about his family. Truly cared about Spencer. I'm not bullshitting nobody. I don't want you to fucking buy a shirt so I'm going to be nice to you. I want you to love it so much you want to support Barroom. I love EJ Jones because he keeps it 100. Aaron Curran from Kentucky. I love that fucking kid because he keeps it's hand in hand. And I'm sorry, but on tonight when Danny T, the leader of your team, as our boy comes on and talks about it, Josh Woods says, not enough people are saying we love you. Not enough people. Well, that's never been a problem for me because I really do love the fan, the barfly. And tonight of all night, what is it? June 3rd. My father's going to be 80 on June 5th. 80 years old.
Wow.
Just think about that. For me, it's like, whoa. And we're in a pandemic and we have to decide, are we going to go there? Are we going to have to tell 6-year-olds they can't hug their grandpa?
Yeah.
It's very hard. I don't ask for sympathy. I'm just saying, you guys, all of you listening in that love this show, you're my family. I appreciate the support. I'm glad that we have the opportunity to talk real talk and keep it 100. Because I wouldn't want to be on a show that didn't. There's no script, as Shane said. We cut each other off. We love each other. We debate. At the end of the day, everybody comes away from a situation or a show. Hopefully, sometimes I go, holy fuck, it was 4 hours? I didn't even, like, we're going to be 3. And it's 4:41. It's 4 hours and 41 minutes. We talked and people fucking enjoyed it.
I want to get this. I'm sorry, Phil.
No, go
I want
ahead.
to get this in before we move on because I promised everyone that we were going to have a 3-hour or so show. Akeem Hicks and everybody that met with the media today was asked about the possibility of kneeling as a sign of protest, because what has become clear out of all this is that Colin Kaepernick was doing the right thing. He was peacefully protesting. Now, one can argue that perhaps he was disrespecting the flag, and those were my thoughts back then. I said, he's got every right to protest. This is America. It's a free country. I wish he would find a different way to do it so that veterans and people who have fought for our country and look at the flag in a certain way won't feel disrespected. But unfortunately, those feelings were amplified by political opponents of Colin Kaepernick. But nonetheless, everyone seems to think now that perhaps Colin Kaepernick was in the right. He was doing things peacefully. And so Akeem Hicks was asked, what are your thoughts about Colin Kaepernick, and would you kneel next season to let your voice be heard about what is going on in this country with police officers killing black men and not being held accountable?
Yeah, so it's a tough answer. It's a tough answer that I have to give, man. I would say that I think it was clear that at the beginning of it all that there wasn't a lot of support, right, from just our business as a whole, right, every aspect of our business, whether it be fans watching or ownership or I'd go as far to say some players around the league, right, and I would say that the underlying meaning was understood, but regardless of what he was standing for, I think that the picture was painted in a way to make him the as he was the aggressor, or he was trying to make the situation about something different. And everything's clear now, right? That we come out on the other side of this in 2020, and it's unfortunate that that young man had to sacrifice his career in order to bring attention and light to it, right? And in talking to a lot of players across the league, there's been several guys that I've talked to that feel like that they would have done something different, that they wish they had done something different at the time, that they wish they had been more supportive. And, for fear of, whether it was their job, for fear of whether it was, blackballing themselves, as it did happen to Kaepernick, a lot of people didn't stand up with him, myself included. I would say this: everything's clear now. Do I feel like there's going to be an effective change, from our business as a whole? I don't know. Can't say. I've seen a lot. This isn't the first case. This isn't the first time I've seen something like this happen,
So that's my question to everyone in the chat room. Would you support the players or the team if certain players or the entire team elects to take a knee during the national anthem? And Greg, if you can kind of monitor that for us so that we could, find out from people how they feel about that subject, because I think this is a huge issue. We had a player who took a controversial but peaceful protest to what was going on. And now it appears that he's being proven correct because obviously the looting and destruction is not the way to protest. And so we don't want to see that, but we would like to see people make a strong statement somehow, some way.
I think it's an interesting question because, as I was saying last night on Shy Fans, I was at the Bears-Steelers game a couple years ago where some of the players were kneeling and there was a lot of talk surrounding on would teams do that. And then one of the Pittsburgh players stood in the tunnel, not with his team, because some of the Steelers players were kneeling. I forgot his name.
Villanueva.
That's right. And, it was very tense. Even in the stands, fans threatening other fans to get up and things. And I thought was real out of line because, I'm sorry. You can feel certain ways and feel strongly about it, but it is an American right. You want for all the disrespecting the flag and the anthem. My friend that, it was an Army Ranger, or my uncle that was a Marine, they fought for those rights over there. They have the right to speak on how offensive it is because they fought for this country. But at the end of the day, it is their right to peacefully protest. So that is an interesting question because, not to get too political, but the fact of the matter is 45% of this country is a certain way, is a certain belief system. And I don't think that was the problem when it was initially happened. It was like he just said, in the business side of things, it was hurting business. But now that we've seen all this destruction and chaos, I think everyone would rather take the latter. We should have seen that, as a society to begin with. So you hope that people can make their concessions, but there's always going to be the guys that want to stir the pot. So, when we go into this season and people are protesting in different ways, when the NBA and NFL and all these sports are going to start at the same time, it's going to be interesting to see how each team goes about, voicing their feelings,
Guys, let's put a bow on this and then move on. So we'll kind of go around the table. Shane first. Any final thoughts on this, and then we'll move on to tweets and other issues.
In terms of a final thought, Aldo, like I said, I don't want to keep on repeating myself. I'm impressed. I'm happy with our panel here, with what we do. None of this was easy, like I said. It's the right thing to address. It's the right thing to speak on. To get this out there live, unedited, raw, so everybody, the masses can hear what our thoughts are on this subject and the life that we're all living today. It's not about being held accountable for stuff 200 and 300 and 400 years ago. Today's June 3rd, like Phil said. Be better on June 4th. Be better on June 5th. And get better the next day. It's got to start somewhere. Why not today? Why not in this chat room? Why not on this panel? Everybody. We can all be better. We can all have our differences. We all fuck up. I've fucked up. I've done really dumb things in my life. Things that I'm not proud of. mistakes, but you own it. It is what it is. It doesn't make me a bad person. Admit your mistakes and move on and be better. Be better tomorrow. Be even better the next day. Occam's razor, be simple. Like I said, incorporate that into your life and watch how you really can change the world. It starts with one person. You know, I have a dream, right? Everybody does. It's got to start somewhere. Enough with the bullshit. You know, that every vote counts. Oh, my vote doesn't count. No, but you can still make a change. Your voice can be heard. We will let it be heard here on Barroom. Don't be scared. Speak your truth, no matter what. And we'll all be better from it. Everybody. As humans.
Phil, your thoughts, please.
Powerful night, emotional night, a truthful protest in the sport that I love so much. Not more than my wife, for those taking notes. But I would never be the person that I am without the game of football. And I think what Shane said, be better. And I think the national anthem, in perspective of Black Lives Matter, in protest, that is silence. That is actually kneeling. And I think if that's your belief, then you have that right to do that. And I'll be the first one, like I said at the top of the show, that I was ignorant in the understanding. I felt uncomfortable about them doing it. And then I think about going to Soldier Field with my friends and watching fans buy beer and scream at one another while the national anthem is going on. So what can we do as humans? What's worse? To me, the guy going to get popcorn while the national anthem going on is much worse, or ordering a beer or 7, than somebody kneeling silently to bring awareness, because it makes Freddie, John, Joe, Angela, whoever uncomfortable. No, it's just like I said, that one sheep is strayed. I think everybody, I'll fucking kneel in the national anthem now, because not only do I love my country, not only do I love this game of football, but it's gotten out of hand. It's gone to the wrong place. So I think you put down your feelings and you put down your upbringing. And for that moment, which is what? Depending on who's singing it, Aretha could take it for 4 minutes. You understand what someone's saying. And I think you'll be better for it, because it ain't your life. You're at home on DirecTV, or you're in the stands ordering a beer. Let's acknowledge that this exists and be okay, because you're the one that needs to change. If you're the one that's so uncomfortable with it, you're probably the one that needs to change. Just like the guy that filmed the kid getting shot by the cops, or those, I don't know the whole story. The 2 guys that killed the black man, you saw it, the unarmed guy. He's just as bad. So if we do nothing and we're silent, we don't use what God gave us, the spirit inside of you that's giving you life, to say something or do something different, then you're just as bad as the racist bigot down the street. That's my final thought, because I know this Drew Brees thing is very hot topic now. It's very hot and what have you, but it isn't about the flag now, guys.
Right.
It isn't. It's not.
Yeah, and I we could go another 2 hours just talking about the Drew Brees situation,
Right.
but we won't do that. Maybe in a future show, because 100 Proof is a special show. We try to entertain as much as possible with humor, with Draft Dr. Phil's music, with Johnny Santucci's audio productions and videos and all this stuff that we do. We try to cover the Chicago Bears in a unique style. But tonight, we really wanted to address this situation. And one of the things that Matt Nagy said today that Shane retweeted and I saw, and it really made an impact on me, because I was kind of wrestling with, how much of the show should we devote to this? Should we just kind of skip it? Should we just talk about it a little bit in the last half hour and so forth? But Nagy said, that there are certain things that are more important than football, and this is more important than football. And so that's why I feel comfortable having addressed this. And I just want to express my gratitude to everyone in the chat room. We've had different points of view on things. We've had people on this side of the fence, we've had people in the middle, and we've had people on that side of the fence. And we've done it all with respect to one another's points of view. This is a very emotional thing to talk about. There are people who, have very different views than you and I, and that's fine. That's the beauty of America. But I think I just want to applaud everyone in the chat room for how they conducted themselves with respect to their fellow barfly. Mr. Greg Braggs, tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, I agree. As your chatterbaiter, my minions in the chat, I am proud that everyone kept it civil. That's how you get through a conversation, as tough as it may be. And like I said, it's 4 white guys here talking. Phil has 2 black daughters, and Aldo is Puerto Rican, so they can speak on this more than definitely I can. But it's you guys in the chat that have different perspectives in life and come from different backgrounds, and that's what this network's all about, is your voice being a part of this. It isn't just us up here talking. We're talking about this with you guys. So for those that feel like they're getting browbeat because we have a certain point of view, I don't think my point of view makes me right or makes me better than you. I'm just trying to tell you how I feel. And yeah, this is our reaction to what's going on right now. The next step is, how do we fix it? How do we make this better? How do we do better here at Barroom to solve these issues? You got to practice what you preach. You can make tweets and talk about it all you want on shows, but we also got to try to do something about it. And so I think that is the next step. Can you solve it all in one day? No, Rome wasn't built in a day. So you got to just try to do what you can day by day. But the first step is talking about it, and that's what we're going to do, as tough as it may be. I mean, I've always been a guy that can talk through things and look on both sides of the coin. I pride myself in that. And, I just think that that can go a long way if we can all try to open our minds to each other and try to understand where other people are coming from and try to understand what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes.
There you go. All right. We move forward.
Oh, shit!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love everybody, every fucking color in this room, yeah.
Even Fat Mike?
He was the man who knows. Excuse me. He's the man and the one who dropped those famous chips in the pancake batter. I think everyone needs to rise up against bigotry and help us make those Black Lives Matter. He's the smartest man, and this is his dumbest tweet of the week.
Well done. Well done. All right. What did I do with that? It's been a long day, bro.
I'm preaching non-hate. I'm about to go crazy on your ass.
Okay, this is the one with the special
dumbest tweet of the week, by the way. The dumbest.
It's not really a tweet. We're gonna take a different approach here.
Break it down real quick.
It's gonna be the dumbest quote from a Bears Barroom show this week.
Ooh, a teaser.
Yeah, a little teaser.
I think you all want to listen.
Ooh, look at Greg. We got Greg Bragg's attention.
Greg's
something happening on Barroom. It's me. It's me.
I just heard. Ooh, I didn't hear anything else. I have the attention of a squirrel.
All right, I know I downloaded it. Oh, here it is. So I should play it now, correct?
You go ahead and play it. And this is a clip from the Fat Mike show the other night.
Oh no.
No, it's not.
And that's it. We're fucking with you.
Hold on. I know I put it somewhere. This is all new to me, so I'm fucking.
And Fat Mike literally just left the chat.
I know.
Left the dogs. I'm like, you should stay because you're about to get destroyed, bro.
All right, so here it goes.
Here we go. We're back. We're live.
Last night on the Fat Mike Show.
I don't have to explain myself to you guys. I don't have to get your guys' approval. I don't need your approval. Sure, yeah. All I know is that I am a Packers fan, and not once ever have I ever rooted for the fucking Bears. Not once. Ever have I ever rooted for the Bears. All right? But I've always rooted for the Packers. Always have pulled for the Packers. And always wanted to be a Packers fan. I love the Packers. So, I mean, that's what it is. So that's my round three,
Close
guys.
the book on that, Mike.
Sure, yeah. And I'm a happy Packers fan here.
Amen to that, brother.
Nope, don't be a dildo.
I think I came in at the wrong time. I heard something about a dildo.
I don't have to explain myself to you guys. I don't have to get your guys' approval. I don't need your approval. Sure, yeah. All I know is that I am a Packers fan, and not once ever have I ever rooted for the fucking Bears.
Sociopathic, psychopathic.
Not once. Ever have I ever rooted for the Bears.
I'm crying.
But I've always rooted for the Packers.
That's the problem.
Always have pulled for the Packers.
This is going to get uncomfortable.
And have always wanted to be a Packers fan. Just fucking. I love the Packers. So, I mean, that's what it is. So that's my round three,
Close
guys.
the book on that, Mike.
Not just a no. It's a hell no.
Because I cheer for the fucking jersey.
Amen to that, brother.
100 proof is no fucking rules.
Amen to that, brother.
I mean, if I'm going to root for a team, I want to give it all I got.
That Mike comes in and he's listening to.
See, just like Phil said, the tape never lies. We have it right there. Mike said, I don't give a fuck about you Bears fans. I'm a Packers fan.
It's true colors.
He pulled the fucking Sandlot ever. Ever. That part was Greg Bragg. Greg Bragg was like, What?
At first, I was like, my mind was blown. I'm like, who listens to this shit? Then all of a sudden, I realized Aldo had pulled the funny business.
No.
No. It was not.
Oh, Tooch.
Don't call it Aldo out because he's Puerto Rican.
Right.
Greg, come on, man.
He's
hate crime, bro.
What's that movie where the kid takes the kid's like a problem child and he makes his dad take him to the amusement park? in the 90s. He did the same thing. He voiced over and made it sound like his dad made a bomb threat to City Hall. You know what I'm talking about?
All right, you just ruined the whole flow.
Greg, you should have kept that gold for your show, Greg.
I want to say Problem Child, but it wasn't Problem Child. That's why I was drawing a blank.
So yeah, I don't know. Hey, if
Greg did a
out
shitty
there.
job vetting Fat Mike, Pack Mike.
I didn't know.
Dan Aguirre is totally bragsing you because he's upset that you allowed Fat Mike a show
He's the one that offers him games and shit.
because he thought he was a Bears fan. How did you not know Fat Mike is a Packer fan? We're gonna have to convert him.
I gotta defend Fat Mike a little bit here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a text from him earlier, and when I was going on my little rant, and I'm like, "Yeah, Mike," talking about Mike Brez. Not gonna lie. And I looked down and I got a text from Mike, Fat Mike. And he's like, "Are you talking about me?" I know, bro.
Clifford, that's the movie. Remember Clifford?
Oh my God, Clifford.
The big red dog.
Who's the actor in Clifford? Aldo.
Fuck if I know. I never saw Clifford.
This guy hasn't seen Vacation, but he's
That's
seen
a-
Clifford.
That's a white privilege movie, Greg.
Oh, you've
Yeah.
seen Clifford.
I've ever heard of
I've never even heard of Clifford.
You have to. The Clifford, where he's like a really bad kid. And he uses the voiceover and gets his dad
You
in
were,
trouble.
you were watching Clifford. I was watching telenovelas with the high.
If you haven't seen Clifford,
Should I sing
watch
again?
Clifford. It's a great
My show is a sham. and hey, us at Bears Barroom, Aldo, Phil, and I talked earlier. We would like to extend our hand to Cherie. Last night, we all felt bad. Greg was stepping on her toes and fucking
Get
killing
the
her.
hell out of here.
She's trying to speak.
Greg.
She's the guest, and Greg's like, "Nah, nah, 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 nah." I gotta talk. Be quiet.
The best is me and Steph are driving in our car around the neighborhood. The kids are asleep and we're listening to the show because, it's a topic I want to hear. And Steph says to me, "Oh my God, just let her talk, Greg. Let her
She's
talk."
much nicer than me. I called Phil today. I'm like,
That was as
Greg
good
dropped
as
the ball.
I could
He needs
do.
to shut
Greg,
the fuck up.
Greg asked her one question. No offense, Greg. Keep it on. You asked her one question. I forget what it was, but I'm cracking up.
Here, let me
Laugh-
answer it for you, Cherie.
Yeah, he fucking
He was
asked her the
essentially
question,
that.
then answers the question for her. And Steph says to me,
No, I didn't.
Yes,
Yes,
you
you
did.
did.
Yes, I will pull the audio. It's so funny. And then our internet goes out, and I go, all I need is a Joe Mandel coming in and saying, "Yeah, brother. Yeah, bro." And sure
That was-
enough, it fucking came in. Our fucking connection was buffering. And then "Oh, yeah, brother." And I go, "Thank you."
I had
God.
internet issues because
I know what happened.
My power went out 30 minutes before my show, and I had to
Oh,
drive to my
that-
friend's house and do my show at his house.
He gave
and
a whole soliloquy on Snapchat.
Why didn't you say it for
him
the
and Jenny.
show? Holy shit.
Yeah,
I totally was like, damn.
The best part
this
of the
poor dude.
show was Greg asked Cherie a question, and then she went to answer it, and then Greg wanted to answer so fucking bad. He raised his volume, but to Cherie's credit,
You gotta have the clip because
she's
I
like,
don't remember.
"Oh, I'll
this.
get it. I'll
You're
get
just
it.
pulling
I'll
crap.
get
It will
I'm not-
premiere next week.
Cherie went up above Bragg's with her level, with her audio level, but then Greg fucking went all in. He's like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." He just fucking. So earlier tonight, before we went live, I said to Braggs, I'm like, "Dude, you just need to learn to shut the fuck up when you have guests on." He's like, "Well, I don't know, Shane. I don't know.
hard. You never
It's
know when
hard."
someone's
and
gonna
I'm like,
stop
"This
talking.
this is the best advice that I could give you, Greg, and I'll tell you exactly. I'll share with the listeners what I told you tonight. When you have a guest on and you ask them a question, just shut up. Let them talk. Just shut up. That'll take you a long way.
Look at what Brian just wrote in the chat.
What?
He was a guest on your show and he barely spoke the whole episode.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
Hey, Brian, how you doing? I watched the movie earlier. Oh, my God. My daughter ate all salad. It was crazy.
Hey, Phil does the same shit. Nobody says anything.
Oh, see how
You just let Phil talk for hours. It's
I
okay
don't
when
ever-
Phil talks.
I've been called the next Howard Stern of interviews because I get it out of people. Just take notes from me, please. I don't cut people off that are guests. I cut you off.
Aldo's more Howard than you're Howard.
Oh,
You're more. You're something else. You're like.
Okay.
You're like.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm not asking you to define me right now. I just shut the fuck up.
Well, you're defining me. You're telling me
I'm not. I'm on
you
your
talk
side.
over ever. You're always talking.
I honestly know how to intervene. It's not to ask a question. Is to what did I text you last night? I said, just ask the question and let her answer. That's it. I don't think anybody's listened to last call.
Why didn't you ask Lady Bear what she thinks?
Well, she already told me.
No, she didn't.
She's
What
like,
did she
I'm
say?
only gonna appear on 100 Proof from now on.
She did not. You lied.
Yes, she did. It might take me. I might have a long question, but I do not cut off the answer. I get the gold, and I'm just keeping it 100. If you go back in the history, like Sandy Tom, some of the questions I've raised to guests have gotten the best, or as Tooch would say, the greatest sound on Barroom. So I'm just saying, I'll take you under my wing. And well, Shane was the one really critical. I didn't know we were gonna bring it up tonight. I was trying to keep you out of the light. Fat Mike's Packer love. The only thing I'm saying for you spoke for Mike, so you got to take a little heat.
There's a lot of fucking people looting because you can't shut up.
Greg won't stop talking over me. I can already hear it being yelled in the streets.
Oh, Lord. That was pretty funny. And that was Johnny Santucci had a role in that, you say?
Oh, you're correct.
Yeah,
Called him out.
I was listening to Shy Fans, and I'll keep it 100.
Me. Cats think they're gonna talk over me. I'll show them whose show this is. Joe Mandel and Fat Mike shouldn't talk. This is my show.
Oh my God. I love it. All I hear is Larison in my head. There's a reason why this Larison.
Don't bring Larison in. He's been talking.
No,
in the
this
chat.
one. This is.
Hey, look at you, Greg. You're really growing
That's
up.
all this is, Jeff. A Greg Burns segment. They get
really
bored.
growing up, that's
Every
all.
point through, at some point through 100 Proof, they're like, this is getting stale. Why don't we just start fucking with Greg?
You make it so easy, bro.
See what happens? They've broken. This is crap. They're trying to break me. It won't happen. I have my advisor, BT9, in the chat. So I've been taking his advice lately. He's also going to help me with the draft next year, but that's a ways away. But in the meantime, he's my PR guy. So I'm not going to let you guys get to me.
Okay.
No matter what you say.
Listen, I'm going to speak on your behalf now.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, I'll allow that. So
I love this guy. I am the reason why you're on this network. Aldo can attest.
Yeah, I didn't want you on.
I didn't trust anybody that spells their name Greg with 3 G's.
I love this guy. There's something special about him, and truthfully, there is. And to Ryan Cox's credit, anybody that listens to 100 Proof they die with the drop. Your drops are great. You are a true teammate. You are the guy. You're the fucking big fat kid in fucking Remember the
big
Titans.
fat kid.
You know, think about that character in Remember the Titans when he just he belts out
Sunshine?
no, the heavyset kid. I forget his name.
Whatever his name is. He's blonde. Yeah.
He starts singing. I forget what song. Something on the mountain. I don't know why it's. I always sing this song. Why can't I remember? But anyway,
I know you're
gonna
leave me, but I refuse to let you go.
There you go.
If I
Listen
had
to me,
to
I can
beg
sing better
and
than Philly
plead,
Tushin. I should have my own song. Johnny fucking Bears 100 proof.
But we
Ain't too
do
proud to
need
beg.
somebody that's listening to make a Greg Braggs puppet. Because
Puppet?
yes, because
I
we're on
missed that.
video
Where's
now.
the other puppet? I missed
Because
the
we're gonna get a Braggs puppet with these drops somehow to come on. I just see it. It's so Ryan Cox was right. Like people have had serious troubles. I'm not gonna share any names. I'm saying serious that are in a deep state of depression and whatever, and then a Greg Braggs drop comes out of nowhere. Like I can just pull one up. Let me see.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be great.
See? How about this is a classic, Aldo? Watch this.
It's my mom's birthday. I can't do this shit.
Like, I can hear that.
Oh, I got a present for you, Barb.
My mom's birthday.
Hopefully, it better be fucking Bears season tickets.
Look at what Quentin wrote about the puppet.
What did he write?
Like the ones that the NFL schedule.
Exactly. Make a Greg
No.
Braggs
Not the
lemonade.
lemon squeeze ones. The ones that look like they're on crack.
You are a great. I think a lot of barflies and Bears barroom personalities could learn a lot from you, keeping it 100 on this night. That you roll with being taken.
You know how to take it.
You know how to take it, just like me.
You
You've saved me all of the jokes that used to go to me all the time. Now you're the guy, and I can't thank you enough for that. But in all honesty, you are an ambassador of what we do here.
We tried giving them to Dan Aguirre when he was on. It didn't work. It didn't work. So
it didn't.
And we put our radar on you, Greg.
Yes, he will have a Barry Sanders jersey. He'll have a beer.
This dumbass Phil
bright blue
had
eyes.
me on his show as a guest analyst. Like I was laughing so hard. I was like,
No,
"What, you wanna
anal.
ask
It was
me about
that
this?"
was anal cyst, you dumbass, not analyst. Again,
And it was you, Shane, actually that told him about it, right? So you guys. Are both
I did. See what we
You
did.
want to talk to me about what? How I harass players?
See what we did,
Greg-
Phil. We
Greg-
created a monster.
We started on one way, and now we've finally found your purpose in barroom. You're tremendous. You're an ambassador.
Ever
You're
since we've
promoter.
known this fucker, you know what we've gotten?
What?
Hallis Hall for training camp. No fucking fans allowed. Mike Glennon as our fucking quarterback.
You know, the coronavirus was gonna wipe out camp anyway.
Coronavirus.
So I got a pass there.
We can't watch any highlights of guys in pads and shorts anymore because of you.
Yep.
But
I obeyed the rules last year.
I know, and it was a
Sort of.
mistake.
A little
I
too
did a
much.
couple.
We
Yeah.
tried to get you to go off base
Had
just
I
a little
known we
bit.
were never going to
two
come back,
things you
I
need
would have
to
gone
do.
full Monty.
Two
I
things
should,
you
that's
need
the
to do.
one time I should have listened to, because like there's evil Shane and good Shane telling me different things on my shoulders, and that time I should have listened, because Shane was just like, do what the fuck ever. I was like, no, I'm being respectful.
Don't
He's
do
like,
it.
no,
Greg. Don't do it.
I shouldn't have done it.
You
I
should have
shouldn't
done it, Greg.
This
They
is the
found out
last
Acevedo
chance.
lived in fucking Bourbonnais, and they're like, yep, they fucking packed up everything, fucking left.
Didn't even fucking say goodbye.
Nope.
Right out in the middle of the night.
All right, I love the touch of the kind of the new the bad clip of the week taken.
Yeah, so it's a warning to everybody else on this network.
So watch what you say, Mike North. We might be bringing you up next week. Hello, little Dicky.
We move on.
Oh shit! Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cherie, you can come on my show and I'll let you have all the time in the world. Yeah.
That sounded creepy.
He's the smartest man. 100 proof. The truth. With the doc, the brags, the producer, and the smartest man. You couldn't even convince the motherfucking Pope that Fat Mike's not a fucking Packer fan. He's the smartest man, and this is his tweet of the week.
Yes, it is the tweet of the week. What do I have here? Oh, I know what I got. I got a very special. Wait a minute.
It's an audio.
It's an audio. Here's this, and then I have. Jesus Christ! I really fucked this up.
Aldo spent about $3 on that graphic. Go ahead.
I made it like about 30 seconds before the show time. But where's my audio? Where did I put it?
Nobody knows but you.
That is true. All right, hold on.
You can run.
I know
I sent you that wipe. You can run the wipe, like the best tweet. Remember that robot one?
No.
Oh my god! I work so hard on these things. People.
Always next week, Phil.
Here it is.
Oh my god!
And I thank all of you that when I offered opportunities on Twitter for you to donate, for you to work towards being part of the solution, that you took that on. And you said that these kids, our kids, they mattered to you. And even if you could only give $20, you were willing to do it. That you were willing to send money to people who were going to go help these business owners on the South and West Side clean up. Whether you were doing it with your brooms and your garbage bags, or if you were doing it with money. Those are the things.
Did it go out?
Yeah,
It did. Went out for me too.
I wasn't sure if it was on our end. Although the audio cut
I
out.
fucked up. You hear it now?
Of how
No.
There it
Yes.
Yep.
we try. And please keep helping if you can.
I'm sorry, guys. Should I go back a few minutes?
Well, I think the entire point got across, and I mean I can speak on it.
Thank you.
If you want me to,
Please save me.
Bring
And
it back.
do you want to bring us back up so everybody can see us?
Trying.
There he is.
Yeah. Hey, new listeners may not realize the history that I don't want to say Bears Barroom, but I have with Lawrence Holmes. I'm going to keep it 100, and I'll be completely honest and tell you exactly what happened. There was I don't know exactly what game it was, but I had always taken exception to the Bears post-game coverage with Lawrence Holmes and Matt Forte and Alex Brown and Lance Briggs. Always thought that it could be better. I remember the Bears were coming off of a big win, and I tuned in. I have DirecTV, channel 665. And like I said, we live and breathe and die with this stuff. So any content that I can get, I appreciate.
So I tuned in like I did every week. And here I am waiting for analysis of this big win that the Bears had. And Lawrence Holmes and Lance Briggs and Matt Forte and Alex Brown just dismissed the game essentially and decided to make fun of Leonard Floyd at the time. They were bagging on Mitch Trubisky. And this was after a big win. So I sent out a tweet. And listen, looking back, I'm going to admit that I was wrong because I tagged the entire crew there from the show. And I said, if you want real analysis, come to Bears Barroom for it. Well, it caught fire. And they all chimed in on it. Lawrence Holmes chimed in on it. And I didn't agree with Lawrence's assessment at the time because he was talking down to me like I was a child. And listen, boy, you don't know who's going to make you in this industry. You don't know who's going to break you in this industry. Who's going to give you your break? Who's going to destroy you? Like, fuck you talking about, Lawrence? It's time I'm, 41 years old. Fuck are you? You mean nothing to my livelihood. I'm not a 20-year-old kid trying to break into this. But it was wrong what I did. It was. I can voice my displeasure. Listen, NBC Sports Chicago, they have a lot bigger budget than we do at Bears Barroom. And they got big-time names. And I wanted better content. Not just the jokes and nothing about football. I had a problem with it. I heard Lawrence speak on that clip that you just heard, and it affected me because I realized everything that I was bitching about and complaining about and tagged them in didn't really matter. And that's what the entire point of this show is tonight, is that you have to be man or woman enough to realize, to own up to your mistakes, and to extend a hand to Lawrence Holmes like I'm doing, and realize that bygones can be bygones. Your mistakes in the past can be buried, and you move on. You be better on June 3rd. You be better on June 4th. You be even better on June 5th. This toxic environment that we're dealing with right now needs to change. And Lawrence understands that better than anybody. He's a black man. I am not. And I have compassion to his perspective and to what he lives with, to what he has to deal with every day. And me taking pot shots on Twitter, I can voice my opinion. It doesn't make it right. I still feel that they could do better on their show. And I would tell that to Lawrence to his face. I really would. But he gets it. You feel the passion in his voice, much like we heard with Phil, with Greg, and with Aldo tonight. And I feel like with myself when I spoke. It's raw, filled with emotion. And that's what you want when you're hearing and listening to people talk. You don't want it scripted. You don't want it written out. You don't want 75 people on a fucking network saying the same thing because they think that that's the right thing to do. It cheapens it. I'm sorry. It does. It's weak. You may think you're doing the right thing. You prove that you're a fraud by taking the easy way out. Speak raw. Speak from your heart. Speak with emotion.
That's what all of this is about. It's about being better. So props to you, Lawrence Holmes. I extend my hand to you as a human being, and I respect for everything that you stand for and everything that you spoke on, and I'm right there to support you. I was wrong with the way that I approached it. I would sit down and talk to you and tell you my issues with it, and we can break bread, crack a beer with each other, and be better for it. So God bless you, sir. And that is my best audio tweet of the week, Aldo.
Well done, brother. I think there's a lot of people in the chat room who are questioning whether you did anything wrong by pointing out.
Well, like I said, it was a little bit more involved. And Aldo, I mean, even you were pissed. You called me on the phone. You know, Julie DeCaro, I believe at the time, called you, wanted to know what the hell was going on, and you called me and were pissed, and I told you my point of view. My point was where I was wrong was I was promoting us while degrading them, and that's not right. That's where I was wrong. I can give constructive criticism, and I told Lawrence that. I said, bro, you've been in this industry. I'm a nobody. Just telling you. The fact that you're even fired up about what I said is kind of baffling to me. But my approach was wrong. And when your approach is wrong, that makes everything after that, you're going down the wrong road. You didn't take the right path from the beginning. And I didn't. And like I said, I don't want to make this bigger than it is. It wasn't that big of a deal. But like I said, Aldo, when I sent you this tweet, it affected me. When Emmanuel Acho spoke, it affected me. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. And I'm not going to hold ill will towards Lawrence Holmes because he called me out and said, I don't know. You never know who's going to break you, boy. I was pissed at the time. Yeah, I was. Like that. Like, Jesus, I don't even know how old Lawrence Holmes is. I'm probably older than he is, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't fucking talk down to me. You're not affecting my livelihood at all, Lawrence, because you're going to break me. I just didn't. My process of handling that was wrong. And that's what all of this is about. No matter if it's big or small, be able to admit when you were wrong. You don't always have to be right. Sheldon Day ain't top 5 in the NFL. Defensive tackle. Admit it, dumbass. Sorry. You fraud. Admit it. I was a Deshaun Kaiser guy, just like you were, Mike Brez. Admit it. You were wrong. Happens. You know what? Doesn't affect my day. I made a mistake. I wake up every morning and I see my son brushing his teeth and getting ready for his day. That makes me a good person. That's where I take pride in. I don't take pride in bullshit and trying to be right with absolutely everything. I'm a good person because I'm raising my son the right way. Because I come on here with my brothers and I speak the truth. And I admit my faults. I'm not perfect. Never have been. Never tried to be. And that's probably a bad thing. But I'm just being honest. So
we had that because Lawrence Holmes and I we clashed with Lawrence pulling something like this on me for the wrong reason because I was against Hub Arkish saying Peanut Tillman isn't a Hall of Famer. And I took umbrage with that because I believe he is. I believe what he did on the football field, yada, yada, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
So Lawrence was wanting me, Phil, to call up the radio show. And I said, I'm not calling up the show where you're going to give me 3 seconds to speak and then cut me off. You want me on the show. Like, that's how I felt because I knew the game. So I was like, no,
I'm talking right here on Twitter. I think it's wrong. Well, tell Hub. Well, Hub's on Twitter. He's tagged in this. I'm talking to him and you. And then he went and subtweeted that I forget what the term he used. I don't know if Shane remembers. But this is where brothers, I'm bringing that story into this, where Shane did what he did. And what did I say to you, Shane? I go, I don't think you should have tagged Barroom in
Yeah,
that.
you did. You told me. Right.
The very next day. Like, I could have... standing up for the truth is owning your mistakes. Not many people can. So for you to do this tonight, on a night where we're trying to keep it 100, you lead by example. You don't talk the talk. You walk the walk. And I felt like what you were doing and what you were saying was right. By definition of what that show was bringing to the table was piss poor. And I don't remember who said it, but it made Lawrence and whoever else, the producers, people shared with us behind the scenes comments that were going on that Shane, obviously the show, what we do here made you not a nobody.
To show you how deep it gonna get in. I'm not going to get into names, but
right.
There was people within that show structure that I was provided comments with.
Yes.
With somebody that I know that they probably don't know that I know personally.
Right.
They gave me screenshots of a Slack conversation. Was it? They said, "Do you want me to go after this dude? Do you want me to go after Bears?"
They were trying to pull the Kathy.
Yeah.
Try to
Do
make
you want me
it
to go after
something-
this guy? Do you want me to go after the content and see if we can get him on a copyright?
Yeah, they
that
wanted to
happened.
go and play dirty pool.
Right. That was real. That happened. And
keeping
I
it
would,
100.
like I said, I would tell Lawrence that. And that's fine. Like I said, my mistake was to tag Barroom in it and to promote us while degrading them. Their show had an issue. That's an issue, right? It wasn't good. I don't need to go on there and listen to Lance Briggs not taking his job seriously and Lawrence Holmes just laughing at everything that's said when it's not even funny. After a big Chicago Bears win, the only one on that show that was taking their job serious that day was Alex Brown. And I pointed that out too.
Right.
Matt Forte was bad. Lance Briggs was bad. And as the host who controls that, Lawrence Holmes was responsible. You can control what road you go down. It's no different than this show. Phil, if you and I went down a road that Aldo wasn't comfortable with or thought we should be called out, he would not bat an eye. He would stop and he would say, guys, I don't agree with that, because that's how we are here.
I don't agree with Aldo not putting the fucking wipe that I worked on for tweets of the week.
God damn it, Aldo.
I think it's a dope wipe, but
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
call him out now. Like
I'll have to
you did
go
with the fucking Thomas fucking Hooker. Whatever.
I'll have to go back and look. I can't remember the exact time frame, but like I said,
But listen, can we say this? I want to extend an olive branch to Lawrence Holmes. I think Greg will be proud of me in this moment. We're having Olin Kreutz on next week.
Yeah.
Also with Brett Maley from Pawn Stars, who's a big fan of the show and friend of the show. We're gonna have those two guests on. I would love to bury the hatchet with Lawrence Holmes. I think if Lawrence Holmes sees the true people that we are in this show, Barflies, you can share it with him however, that we could bury the hatchet and be bigger than what we were. And I think I'm proud of what has transpired tonight on this show, really without a script. I hope you guys feel the same way, and hopefully you gain more fans of the show, and hopefully you get better for this and what we're sharing tonight. I know I feel like tomorrow I can enjoy life because we had an uncomfortable conversation about a lot of things, but it was necessary conversation.
I agree, Phil. You know, one of the things that I've always found out when I first started with you guys, I can remember my first show ever. I didn't sleep the night before because we used to record in the mornings then. Like, oh man, what am I going to talk about? And I've never been a guy that got nervous in situations like that. And I was nervous, you know, little things like that. The more you do it, the more you get used to it. And like I said, you know, Phil, we've talked about going and doing a 4-hour show or whatever. And it's show's wrapped up. And we look in the chats, and Sandilan's like, "What do we do now?" You know, we were talking about that last week. These guys are done. What do we do now? And then I'll walk out of my office and grab a drink and go up and get in bed. And Phil and I are texting for 20 minutes. Like, bro, I can't sleep.
Hard to sleep because you
too
get your
ramped up. Too ramped up.
Your adrenaline going, and
but that's because
that's day jobs too.
Yeah. Don't I know it? You got to get up early, but it is. But to me, is you know, even if we did go until 2:30 tonight, it sucks because I'm tired the next day. Like I said, I'm not 20 anymore. I'm gonna be 44 on Walter Payton's birthday, July 25th. You know what I mean? And it affects me, but at the same time, it's worth it.
Yeah.
We're getting our message out there. And this, I know I say the same things over and over. This is what separates us. We're not afraid to admit our wrongs or tell you when we're right. You don't find that a lot of places. You really don't. I don't know.
It's almost like a confessional to me. When I get a letter, I've now taken it and shared it with Greg, Shane, and Aldo every time. It's not to shine your shoes or pat yourself on the back. It's to showcase that somebody in South Africa is listening to everything we have to say. Someone in Greece lives by everything we have to say and have the same kind of affinity for this game of football. And what we have to say is so important to them that it means something. So it's almost like you have a responsibility to be prepared, be knowledgeable. But it goes back to this in the point of Shane criticizing Matt Forte and the post-game show. Ryan Cox sent the audio of Howard Stern and Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And Howard was talking about, and I'm paraphrasing, that he, had to work hard like Jordan. He was talking about the documentary, how he willed it to happen. Jordan willed himself to be great. And Jerry fucking knocks it out of the park. And says, no, he didn't. He said, and he, just like us, he says, I'm great at what I do. Howard Stern, you're great at what you do. And Michael Jordan is great at what he does because the one thing that it has, because we love what we do.
It's not Will.
So Sherry, EJ, Andrew Tarble,
Cherie,
Clarence Singleton, Harp, Zach Sullivan, Jim Larison, Ralph Tribby, the Haitian Persuasion. And I could go on and on. They love this show because they know we love to talk, analyze, and break down. Yes, we're knowledgeable. Yes, we do the homework. Yes, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, what separates is what Jerry Seinfeld knocked out of the park on Howard's and shut down Howard. Because Howard's like, you motherfucker, you're right. It is. Because what did he say, Shane? That love is bottomless. Will has an end. And that right there is why we talked what we talked about tonight. And that's why I said I love all the barflies. I do. Jamari Riddick, Ace, finally fucking, you see him? Ace Daniels. We always thought he was another Daniels, but it's Ace who's in the fucking, he's been listening to the bar room since the Tressman days. Remember, Greg? We met him. He comes running down to me and you because we've made a difference in his life talking about what he loves. Viggy from Green Bay, Wisconsin. There he is. Ace Daniels popping up. Finally figured it out. You're live with us. So Bear Truth 9, Greg's agent, all of you, Swanky, first one in the fucking tailgating for the show. Even though Aldo fucked that up tonight too, keeping it 100. So this show, this network, I'm so proud to be a part of, and you guys too. I'm gonna fuck up. I'm gonna mess up. But I'm always going to keep it 100. I'm not gonna talk over Olin Kreutz. I'm gonna ask him the pointed question.
Greg.
I will talk over Olin Kreutz.
Exactly. We will put you on mute. But
Olin, shut up about your offensive line philosophies real quick. I just gotta ask you real quick. What did you think of the Cubs World Series win in 2016? Was it the fucking best? They've underachieved and they're overrated since then. But what do you think, Olin?
My questions are much more layered than that. Thank you very much.
Layered, they're filled with 7 minutes of what?
He's the first guy
if it's
to
too
ask and
complicated
answer.
for you, Shane, you know. I mean,
Aldo,
sorry,
it's
I know.
11:01, and we have breaking news for the Barflies.
We do.
This is the end of our show.
Yeah!
Good night, everybody.
You know how that goes, right?
That's right.
There we go.
Music. But we got to give Greg an opportunity here to share. Like Heart 4803 said, man, there's been so many great comments in the chat room. He does not envy Greg Braggs for picking out 2 or 3.
Put the Larison one up real quick.
Do not put the Larison one up.
There it is.
Yeah, fuck you, Larison.
I had Zach Sullivan reach out to me. He's like, wait a second, this Jim Larison is real? I thought he was fake. I swear to God, I thought he was fake. No,
Still got
real.
$19 on that Taco Bell gift card. I'll go buy a taco and stuff it down your throat. I love you. This is a show of love.
Love.
All right, Greg, the floor is yours. Tell us what you got.
Well, we had a lot of fun interaction, as I said in the chat. You know, everybody, you know, we got to loosen up here in the second half of the show. But again, want to thank everybody for keeping it civil, you know, while we went through the early portions of the show where we talked about the tough issues. You know, like I said, you guys are appreciated, and we like to involve you guys in the conversation. And, you know, just everybody just, you know, being fair and respectful. It is appreciated greatly by all of us here at Bears Barroom. So with that being said, we do have some of the best comments of the night. You know, it's hard to keep up with all of them. Heart 4803 indeed. But I wrote down the best one. So first comment of the night goes to Bear Truth 9. Actually, an interesting little situation. We had to restart the show for some technical difficulties. So not sure who the first one was in the chat for the first one, because the official show, Bear Truth 9, got the first billing, and he put, what's really going on, gents? Because, you know, he was able to get in there right under the clip, you know, before Sandlin, I believe. So Chris Gonzalez also said, we all feel that pain together, speak the truth, you know, and that's what we were doing here at the start of the show. You know, we had a lot of heartfelt, you know, things coming out, and I believe Chris was referring to Phil's, very heartfelt rant, if that's the word you want to use, for it. And, Chris Gonzalez wanted to shout you out for speaking the truth, Phil. Andrew Tarbill also wanted to shout you out, Phil, for that early portion rant coming out the gates. He said, we appreciate you, Phil. Much love, brother. That's from Andrew Tarbill. Ron Rupnow, who actually sent me some pretty badass working gloves. I got them in the mail today. I want to shout you out, Ron Rupnow. He said in the chat, we all need to work together to make this better, and I couldn't agree with that more. It starts with us individually and, reaching out to your neighbor's hand and shaking it no matter what race, creed, religion, gender, anything. Let's be people and work together to make this a better place. Completely agree, Ron. EJ Jones in the chat room, had a lot of great comments tonight. He said, kudos to you, Shane, for rising above all the hate you grew up with. He was referencing, you talking about maybe some of your early time, growing up with some of your family and friends and being able to kind of have your own opinions despite that. I definitely, can sympathize with that. I had the, I dealt with the same thing, still do. We all are individual in our beliefs. So EJ wanted to shout you out, Shane. Oles278 said, Shane hitting it out the park as well. A lot of great thoughts coming out from the early motions of the show. Zach Bradley said, I can't be more proud of the bar room right now. And we appreciate that, Zach. We're just trying to do our best to bring you guys, authenticity. And that's what we are here at Bears Bar Room. Ace Daniels, Phil was just shouting him out. We saw him at the Bears-Packers game. Said he wanted to give me a new nickname, Greg, a.k.a. bottom left guy, because some guy in the chat, Logan Frost, referred to me as the bottom left guy. He didn't know who I was, so I guess I'm bottom left guy now. There I am in the bottom left. I don't know how that gets decided, but I'm always in the bottom left, right underneath. I'm like in Aldo's, lower half. You know what I mean? So,
doesn't sound odd at all, Greg.
No,
you're all over Aldo's lower half.
We're just gonna roll with it, Shane. Okay. Larison, that asshole. No, I'm kidding. Was in the chat and he said, "Shane, is that your vet in that bird watching video?" He's maybe thinking there might be, a correlation there.
Fuck that vet.
Swanky said,
there you go, Greg.
No.
Oh boy.
Put it away.
Oh,
Put it away.
Oh,
no. Jesus Christ.
Everything was growing up roses until
this is gonna go off the rails real quick. Swanky said, loving the conversation, boys. You guys are doing an awesome service, and it's honestly the least we can do is speak about these issues. I think there's a lot more work to be done, but that's for another day. As I said before, Rome wasn't built in a day. Bear Truth 9, my guy, my confidant, my advisor, and my draft analyst expert going into next year. He said, Akeem needs to get on the Braggs diet, which I thought was an interesting little thing. He said he might be looking a little chubby. If he wants any advice, I'm up on the workout diet thing now. I pride myself on being an athlete. So, any advice, I'm happy to give it out. So Cornelia Squalls had an interesting comment and said, the Constitution begins with, in order to form a more perfect union. Hopefully we can get closer to that goal. And I thought that was a really great comment by Cornelia Squalls. Brian Tonsoni, my guy who threw me under the bus saying I didn't let him talk his whole show, had a great comment in the chat that said, discovered Bar Room in March thanks to Braggs. Great job, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, and we appreciate you, Brian Tonsoni. He does a great job at Assembly Call for all the IU fans. GSH Jeff. Maybe you should, tune in for Brian Tonsoni. He does a great job breaking down IU basketball, and he also likes to throw his new friends like Greg under the bus. So thank you, Brian Tonsoni. Heart4803 said, Fat Mike Packer backer. That's right, the Packer backer. We always got to make sure we kick a little rocks to Fat Mike and his stupid love for Brett Favre. Chris Sandlin said, last time I was on with Greg, I didn't talk till 2 hours in. That was actually by design, Sandlin. Sometimes I love you and sometimes I hate you. That must have been one of those days. Fat Mike actually had brought some knowledge in his latest comment. He said it was Martin Short that was in Clifford. I know you know who Martin Short is, the great actor. And if you haven't seen Clifford with Martin Short, you should. It's a great movie and kind of influenced me as a kid. I was like, oh, this kid's a troublemaker. I'm going to try to figure out how to do things that he did, So screw you, Aldo. I'm telling you, if you watch it, you're hating on this. But I mean, if you enjoy, do you not enjoy any of Martin Short's work?
No,
He's been
actually,
around for-
I interviewed Martin Short once, so I
Yeah.
appreciate his work. He's a great comedian.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of this movie. So I'm telling you,
I have now. Now I remember it. Yeah.
All right, Larry the
It was
Scary
the fucking
Rex.
80s, man. I was doing cocaine.
That was 1994 to be exact, but
Yeah, I
yes,
was
you were
really
probably
fucked up
still
then,
doing cocaine by then. So Andrew Tarbill said, Greg, send that jersey to Shane so he can reframe it. You know, I always get comments about my jersey background. This time I tried to see if anybody would notice. I changed it from the Ditka to my Hester jersey.
Right away.
And, you know, I think I'm going to change it because I am kind of copying off of Shane's Hester. So maybe I'll change it up for next week. But
Is yours
you know,
autographed?
Yeah, it is. If you want me to, you know, pull it off the wall.
We believe you, Greg.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll bust out all my, you know, never mind. And so I like, yeah, of course. I got another one. I'm gonna pull out the college one maybe next week, but we're not gonna have twinsy background. So I'll change that up for you next week, Shane. And no, it's not gonna be as nicely framed. I'm waiting on that until I get my house. But that's
You
a
gotta
long
fold
story.
over the sleeve a little bit.
Give me a jersey autograph. Walter Payton.
Listen, before they shut down camp, I would have been happy
Hey,
to
listen.
get you a signed jersey.
You know what I learned today? People love Phil Etoshin so much they burn his fucking game tape in high school. So
Interesting.
That's the next show story.
Okay, so the last couple comments of the night to wrap this thing up said, Call Abdullah said, Aldo is the drunk bus driver expecting to transport us to the promised land. LOL. I don't know what context that was over, but he definitely is the drunk bus driver. And I've been on a bus while we've been drunk. He wasn't driving.
it was a short
but
bus.
It was a long bus, and there was a and it was a great time. I look forward to those days in the future. And to wrap things up for the final comment of the night, we appreciate all your comments in the chat. Josh E. said, I love the show tonight. Deep respect. This is bigger than football. Thanks for keeping it 100. And Josh E., that's what we try to do here, and we appreciate you and all of you guys tuning in, and make sure you join us next week. As Aldo was saying, Olin Kreutz will be joining us, and you can watch me talk over him.
Want to bet?
Be on mute that night.
No, one time at camp, I was just trying to ask something to, he's walking over signing autographs, and Jay Glazer was there working on or doing something. I was like, what's Jay Glazer here? I thought maybe he was like trying to break a story, and Olin would tell me in front of everyone at camp, and he was like, working like I was a dumbass. I was like, that's true. I'm gonna go walk away now because I kind of peed a little when he said it.
You'll have to share that with him. I think Olin would love that story.
We'll just edit this part and share it with him that way.
That's right. We'll do that.
Yeah, because I'll talk over him.
You're lucky he didn't punch you in the face like he did Fred Miller and knock you out for a couple days.
That's true.
Shane Marsaw, shout out time.
I got to shout out my boy Tooch. I would listen to Shy Fans in the Stands last night and listen to Fat Mike preach on his he had to speak on his own behalf about the Brett Favre gate. So I said, this will be a perfect opportunity to pull some of that audio. And I brought my idea to Tooch. So he created that masterpiece that we played for Dumbest Tweets. And I thought that was gold. And he said, overall, I'm going to shout you guys out, everybody, all the listeners in here. Just Occam's razor. Again, keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Be a good human being. Be better, and then be better the next day. That'll count for a lot.
Phil Etoshin, talk to me with your very mouth.
I just want to thank the three of you for speaking your truth when, like you said, authenticity, almost to the point where Coach Nagi is praising reporters for asking tough questions. I'm praising you guys and this show really to talk about some tough topics where it's going to make certain people uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable isn't always a bad thing. Things change when you're uncomfortable. If you don't like the pants you're wearing because they're uncomfortable, you fucking get some new pants. If you don't like the seat on the plane because it's uncomfortable, you ask for another seat. So tonight, I was uncomfortable with what's going on, and so were you guys. And I feel like we spoke on it. And that in above itself, to have that stage, I felt like a responsibility. I did get some DMs like, please speak your truth, brother. Speak your truth. And I thought really all of you stepped up in the pocket and delivered. And to me, knowing that I'm going to go to sleep tonight feeling very proud of this network, as we move into another chapter of this network with Patreon and other things, that surprises and everything like that, I think it's imperative that we set the stage and the foundation of what we're going to do. So that's my little ending rant, but I have to send a shout out to my wife, who is, like I said in my post, behind every good man is an even greater wife. I think I said great man, but because I fucked it up. But she is a great person and just an amazing human being. And I could, you say you 3 strikes you're out. I got 2 pitches at the plate. I knocked it out of the park with the second one. That's keeping it 100. Not just saying that because she's here or listening, but it's the reality that we parent in a way that's righteous, that our children are going to be the ones that change this kind of shit that's going down. So I want a special shout out to her. I want to shout out my dad, who's going to turn 80 this week. He wants to come back on the show. That's how much fun he had. So I told him we're going to do that. I got to teach him how to get on Skype and shit from his house because of the virus. But I wanted to also take some time out. Thank Ron Rupnow, Clarence Singleton, Kino Cappuccino, Jim Larison, Jamie Johnson, my boy Roger Lambrix, Lance Bailey, Grant Sims, Patrick Mankamer. Patrick was very upset because he's a military and has issues with this. I know he unfollowed me on Facebook, keeping it 100. I hope you're listening in and see Patrick. Robert Johnson, who also was battling me on Facebook about his power, his passion. He's a military person. This isn't right. Well, I hope you listen in, Robert, and you came away understanding. Chris Bowditch across the pond, Zach Sullivan, EJ Jones, who's been in here all night, Chris Sandlin, Jeffrey McLaughlin, Cherie, gonna get it right. See that? Cherie, you were tremendous last night. You brought a smile to my face that I just believe in my ability to evaluate talent. I think you have an amazing talent to talk about your passion, to talk about your hurt, to talk about something that's so hurtful in your life and stand in there with 3 guys and really Greg talking over you and the other guy and just stepping up in the pocket. And really, I just couldn't thank you enough. It took courage and compassion and empathy. So I wanted to make sure I shouted you out tonight. Zach Bradley, Heidi Zimmerman, Philip Stearns, Ralph Tribby, Jennifer Michelle on Facebook, Alberto Valdez, Cameron Kriebel, Alex Acevedo, the swag man. Go over there. Keep supporting what he's doing. On the Instagram side, my man Quentin Botha from all the way from South Africa. My man Kostos in Greece. JJ Stankovic. of NBC shouting us out and what we're talking about tonight. That means a lot. That really does. Avon Walker, who I think is in the chat. J.R. Necrone, Eugene Fix, Heather Jablonski, wife of Jay Jablonski, both of them. I know they raised their kids right. Tremendous people shouting you out. Jeremy Foyer, Paulie Coasters, my man Todd Laplace, my man Todd Rucker. That was so powerful, the message you sent on Facebook about Bears Barroom, about the tape never lies, about your love for what we do here, for you to be brave enough, brother, to say what you had to say. I am too humbled by your words. I can't ask you to do that. You did it on your own. Ace Daniels, my man, in the promo, keeping it 100. Finally, tonight, he's live with us. Sabs the Machine, KBK 127 on Instagram. My man, Jay Watts, DJ Sind, Jay Silverberg, Heidi Zimmerman. You're just a tremendous ambassador of the Barroom and everything you do. My boy, Miguel Rodriguez from Jersey, just loving the Barroom and what we stand for, keeping it 100 to all you fans. And just truly, truly want to thank Tom Breen, my man Jay Dillinger, Rob Sweets, Chris Bennett, James Fox, Isaiah Robles, Andrew Tarble. I love you, man. You're just a great human being. I can't skip over people, Aldo. I know Mark Branham. He's the biggest Mitch Trubisky fan I know. And that's even over Greg Braggs. He just loves the show. Nicholas Cruz, Vito Fiello. Is there a fucking ambassador of the Barroom bigger than him? When I say, how much effort does it take to share? I really mean that. Like, it doesn't take much. So when someone does do it, it means a lot to me. Bear Truth 9. I'm saving the best for last. Serg Orts. Just a father. A friend. I love that man. I love that he loves me for the father that I am, more so than the football guy that I am. He said that to me like 4 times now. So I hear you, and I so appreciate that you appreciate that. My boy Jamari Riddick. Jamari wearing the Tape Never Lies shirt. I showed my wife. She got emotional on it. You mean a lot to me. EJ today, sending that out today, meant a lot to my wife too. I want to say that. Andrew Winston, all the way in Texas. He ain't a Bears fan. He's just a black man who's so proud of what we had to say tonight. I really appreciate him. Dr. Hervey Damas, Rob Manley, and like I said, Porter D. Ellison. He gave me the responsibility. You have a platform to speak on the oppression that I've felt my whole life. I have total and complete faith in you as a man, as a father, and as a human being to speak your truth. Those words kept me up and agitated all day today. That meant a lot to me. Will Mookie Hill, I love you. You're a brother. You keep battling for the truth. I've seen some of his screenshots of bigots going after him, and it just showcases the kind of class you have, bro, and what you feel for Bears Barroom. Paul Rogers, across the pond, he wants to be the ambassador of Barroom. I told him we're going to talk. I'm going to talk to Shane and Aldo, and I'm sorry, Zane Christensen. You're just a tremendous ambassador of the Barroom. And Mark Egan, Joe Barbado, and last, I'll say this will be truly my last one. Lawrence Fleming, I think you're in the chat room. You are a great man and human being. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so very much for the kind words you've had for what we do here in the bar room and wanted to be a part of it. I know I forgot some people and what have you. My prayers, thanks, Greg, looking, go out to Dan Aguirre, our buddy, the voice of Barroom. And that's it, Aldo, for tonight. I think I handled it all. I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings. I know there's people that are out there buying swag and doing everything. And I just thank you all so much for helping not only the show and the network, but my family personally. I will say that, keeping it 100, it means a lot to me, my wife, my children, how much you love and appreciate this show and what Aldo, Shane, and Greg are doing for us here and you at home or wherever you're listening from, all over the world. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well said, Phil. Thank you for those heartfelt words, and thank you, Shane, for your shout outs, and Greg for yours as well, and for doing it, like Harp said, a very difficult job, because I've been reading those comments too. Tons and tons of great stuff and great interaction with everybody. One thing I just want to say before signing out, I'm listening to Phil. And just the fact that we have certain people who have served in our military and stop following Phil or anyone because they have different political beliefs or feel offended about somebody's trying to express themselves regarding a political matter and basically utilizing their constitutional rights. As controversial as it could be, it is sad that it comes to that. And if those people are listening, I would ask them to reconsider and engage and follow Phil again and engage in conversation, civil conversation about what's right, what's wrong. It's not necessary to cut off these discussions, and we can have appreciation for each other's different political beliefs. I, for one, certainly appreciate the views of conservatives. Conservatives believe in low taxation, small government, and individual rights. And those are things that are worthy of debate. I have different views on those things, but I can't say that the conservative is wrong for having those beliefs. I can only express my beliefs, which are contrary to those, and we can have a good discussion, and then democracy kicks in, and the populace makes the decision as to who to vote in office to represent our ideals. So, let's all really try to work harder at getting along and implementing what this great country has laid out in the Constitution, and being good and kind to one another. And the key word that the Bears used today in their press conference when they shared what happened on Monday was love. And I think that's a key word that we have used here today on 100 Proof. We love you. We should all love each other and respect one another. And I am proud to have partners in this enterprise that do just that. And I am also really, really happy that so many people follow us and appreciate what we're doing and support us. And so with that, I think that's the end of our show, guys. I think I'm about 15 minutes late. I promised Shane it would be 15 minutes after the hour. It's 30 minutes after the hour, but we're close. Better than a 6-hour show, right, Shane?
Real quick,
That's right.
Shane, real. My boy Josh, Cubs fan Josh, who's talking about getting these trophies made. Yeah, I want to shout him out. I'm going to talk to Acevedo. I already spoke to the guy real quick. I want to shout you out, Josh. I think he was in the chat room. He reached out
a number of times.
Yeah, he reached out in the from the Tape Never Lies. He reached out to my Instagram. Was like, I love what you guys do. I want to support the bar room and the Barfly fan. I want to give them a fucking trophy for being the best Barfly of the month or whatever. And these trophies aren't
Best cutter offer.
That's
You like how I did that?
See how he did it? You would definitely get that. There he is, Joshy. I appreciate you. I forgot, and I had so much going on in my head, but I wanted to thank you for reaching out with that, and really, we're gonna take that and run with it because I'm always about the fan giving back because, yeah, we give our time, we do the show, but I think you guys supporting us deserve something back, and that was on Josh's idea, and I think we can come up with some creative shit to honor some of you tremendous ambassadors of what we do. Sorry, Greg.
No, it's okay. May I shout out Lady Bear one more time for joining me on Shy Fans last night? I know Shane likes to joke that I talked over her the whole night.
It wasn't a joke, by the way.
It's all fun. We all know that's not the truth. And I just want to shout Lady Bear out once again. Cherie Burnett. Phil keeps getting her name wrong, not to throw anybody under the bus. But I do want to shout her out for joining us, Joe, Fat Mike, and I on the show last night and helping us talk through these issues. It's certainly a lot easier when you have someone coming from perspective as not just a black person, but a black woman. You know, women have a tough time in this country as well. So shout out to you, Lady Bear. I can't give you enough love.
We'll have her on 100 proof and treat her like the queen that she deserves to be.
Mute me up. You'll give have Lady Bear on. Have Lady Bear on, and then you can mute me the whole time she's on, and then layer us in. It'll be his greatest dream.
Are you angry?
He's
Am I what?
Are you angry?
I am not. Tonight is a show of love and peace. I'm not angry. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten, but I'm not angry.
I'm hungry too. I shouldn't drink and drive.
No.
I had to take 3 bathroom breaks. I've been slugging these beers. I'm like, man, it's running right through me tonight. If you look in the private chat, I'm like, gotta go, be right back, bathroom. Gotta go, be right back, bathroom.
3 of them, yes. All right, everybody. Remember, if you drink, do not drive and do not operate the controls on a video show. And always bear down. All right, little post show banter, or you want to pull the plug?
Don't ask Shane. If you ask Phil, it'll go for another half hour.
I was trying to get my wife to come on and talk.
Tell her to come on
about the show, but she's waving me like I'm really tired. But was it a thumbs up?
I'm with Steph.
Hold on, Steph, just speak. You don't have to come on camera. What did you think of the show tonight?
I thought it was awesome.
Can you hear her?
Powerful, and I hope that, like you said, someone takes something away from it if they had an opposite viewpoint.
I love you, Steph.
Shane loves you, Steph.
I love her too.
I love you.
Aldo loves you too.
And Greg, I did like your interview.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't like your viewpoint.
Greg, that hateful
I don't
text.
like your viewpoint.
Greg, that hateful text that you got.
There she comes.
There she is.
Phil, give her the headphones for a second. I'll say this
Get her
with
on
stuff
so
on
I
there.
can cut her off.
Greg, that hateful text you got was not texted by Phil Atoshin. Those were by the beautiful fingers of Steph Atoshin.
Oh, really?
Stop. No, I love the interview, Greg. No. Phil's busting your balls.
Yeah. No, I do have a tendency to talk over some people because I told Joe before the show my one goal was to let her speak. And I just...
Great job.
I did my best.
His
I
one
did my
goal.
best. It was my one goal.
One job.
Blew that
Let
shit.
her speak.
Way to
'Cause I know I
destroy
talk
your
a
own
lot.
goal.
Everybody knows I talk a lot. But it's hard. I like talking.
Greg's daughter turns 2. I send Greg a beautiful
here we
video. Fucking guys essentially told me to go fuck myself, and I don't need your stupid videos, Shane.
I did nothing of the sort.
I'm from the region. We don't need shit like that.
Mike called me that morning to wish Addison a happy birthday. Now you can say
Fat Mike
that
calls everybody. That's
calls
not
every
special.
morning. So
Cat
yes,
makes him on the show the whole time.
yeah. So neither of you two called. That's my contention. Phil keeps trying to say
We
that he
did
called
call.
when
Steph
he's
can
never
bear
called.
witness, but your phone went to voicemail because I had Tate ready to sing "Happy Birthday" with me.
You
but
called on
A
Facebook
voicemail-
Messenger,
a voicemail
and then
that's
I called
full.
you.
I called you on your phone, and it said, "What does it say?" It says your number. I'm sorry, this voicemail box is full, and and then it hangs up on you.
Full of
so
shit.
Tate looks at me. He's like, "So we're not singing?" And I'm like, "What are we gonna?" I should have filmed him and me
Addison
singing.
was heartbroken when I told her that you.
Tate and Devin texted me earlier, and they're like, "Uncle Shane, you're the best uncle. I don't know about Braggs. He's a loser."
They called me Braggs. I like that.
They call you. Look at
Oh my
Larison.
God,
Larison. He's asking for Barb. Shane.
Oh,
Okay,
she's
Larison,
she ain't getting
This
out of
is a
those. She
simple
ain't getting out of
show
those knots.
Respect and love, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
pretend
everyone
like
can
I don't
see
see
you.
that right now, Larison. This is a show of love. You're trying to come in here and stir the pot, but I'm not gonna even let you faze me. Not for a second.
Barb's
High
predisposed
stuff,
right now.
Acevedo. The
got-
swag man. The swag man.
Look, I got my swag.
She's got her draft Dr. Phil. Tate never lied.
Steph did call me and Steph did call me and wants a smartest man
She
T-shirt. but-
does.
I do.
She said she will.
I will rock it.
She's gonna rock all barroom.
Acevedo told me it should be out by April 2024. So stay tuned, Bears fans.
You ain't getting a shirt.
As soon as Aldo plays my wipes on the show, Shane will have his t-shirt.
Find one of the wipes here. Hold on a second.
Give me the wipe. What I was talking about. I thought that was the coolest shit. Do you remember it?
Yeah.
I sent it to the Slack. Can you play it?
You put it. Yeah, you put it on Slack, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second.
Even Steph thought it was.
It is. It is beautiful.
Mad cool. Mad cool. I think
What?
Steph was cool. No.
Mad cool. Is that what she said?
No. So that's dope.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna go.
Let's see what brags. I don't think he's seen it. Let's.
All right, so this is
No, not this one. That's
Not
the
this
Yeah, that's the.
That's
shared
nice.
it. That was nice, but the tape never. That's. I did the tweets of the week for the show.
Oh, okay. Where is it?
It was further up. Look at that.
Look at that good-looking guy.
There he is. When was it, Shane? Was
Hey,
that
Fat
it?
Mike, what's up, bro?
Oh, jeez.
Play that.
What do we get for $10?
Oh, jeez.
Everything you want. Everything.
This might ban our show from.
That's right.
Pause it. Yeah. Exactly.
This one?
Is it? Is this it? Let's see.
Nope.
That was the promo. I sent it earlier this week.
This week. Must have been on this.
No, you're back way too far.
Maybe.
Yeah, you went back last week.
Did you see it?
No, but you're back. You need to come back more towards this.
Craig doesn't check his messages.
No, I don't check none of this stuff.
Maybe it was with Greg in it. Let's double check because he did. Oh, there's one, the Facebook swag. So it must. It's in this. It's coming up because they're in a row here. I'm sending. No, that's this is dumbest tweet. Dumbest tweets of the week. Then you drop music. And then we come back. No, this is breaking news. Bears ball. Breaking news. You go over that.
Remember when we used to have breaking news that was 6 to 8 hours old?
That doesn't really sound
Here
like
it is.
breaking
So
news.
now when we go to the best tweet of the week, we play this.
This is the not Steven Zimmerman Award. Best tweet of the week.
I love that graphic.
See? She loves that graphic.
That was nice. That was very nice.
So that's what they have to look for. Hopefully Aldo will bring them out for the Olin Crude show.
Steph, you look tired tonight. What do you say we end this fucking show and everybody gets some rest? Right, Steph?
She had
Stick
a
up for me,
long
Steph.
day.
James, like,
Ready.
please.
I'm
please
ready.
help
We're all
me.
ready. This is the
Wait,
banter.
wait, before we go, real quick.
Shut up,
Phil,
Greg. You got your
real
own
quick,
show.
Before we go, I'd like Phil to do another round of shout outs for sure.
Oh, God, don't do it. Real quick, real quick.
Did you shout anybody out, Aldo?
Yeah, I did. Conservatives.
Oh,
I said we respect you.
Yeah, you do get pretty.
You shouted out Joe Biden. Nice job, Aldo.
Real quick, 45 minutes later. Anyway,
It was a great show.
great show tonight.
From the heart.
From the heart.
That's why I love Barroom.
That's why I love Barb.
Me. Shane sweeping with my mom.
Mom jokes.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. She is a teacher. She knows her shit, bro.
Oh,
She's gonna teach you. Shut the fuck up.
What does Barb say about Shane's jokes, Greg?
Barb, she's going back and forth because sometimes my mom can be very defensive of me. I'm her baby boy. So sometimes when you guys are going in on me, she'll be texting me and she's like, tell them to stop. I'm like, it's fine, Mom. And then other times she gets it. So
I'm not stopping, Barb.
He's playing with Barb's emotions, and I'm telling you, we called her the general growing up for a reason. You don't want to meet, the sharp end of her blade. She's tough. She's tough as nails.
She is a great.
Maybe she'll cut that fucking beard with that sharp blade.
My beard. It's day 83 of this beard. Jenny told me yesterday she was looking at me weird, and I said, what? And she's like, don't even look at me with that stupid beard on you. She hates it because the hair is like curling into my mouth at this point. I haven't cut it at all. It's the longest it's ever been, and I'm kind of embracing it at this point.
See, I'm the opposite way. I shave my face, and Eel's like, don't look at me for 2 to 3 days. Get out of my face.
Now I feel almost kind of weird about shaving it off. So I don't know.
I have to shave in this house with her.
I was joking with Sylvie that he was talking about when he has to shave that I would just shave it all off, but I don't know when he's going to do that. And it's getting really hot out. Like yesterday, it was like 110 degrees, and I still haven't gotten a haircut either.
It was 110 in Indiana. That's believable.
Well, believe it, baby. Believe it.
110, Phil.
It's my mom's
17 degrees. Okay? Thank you very much.
It's my mom's birthday.
I
Me,
can't
me,
do
me,
this
me.
shit.
Do you know what Shane's doing to my he's a teacher? It's a sharp end of the blade.
I can't wait till we all get in the same room together.
It's
Wherever
a
we're
show
gonna
of
be.
love and peace, and now I'm back
Yes.
to wanting to run Shane over with my.
Anyway,
Good night, everybody.
Great show. Love you all. Good night,
Keep calm.
barflies.
Keep calm and bear
baby.
down.
That's it.
I made history tonight.
That's
There
right.
you go.
You got.
We didn't make the playoffs.
That's for sure.
Our Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Every week on 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. Our Bears Barroom.
That was fun.